in Tyler, so it's not very common you see a tornado with this temperature. But again, we don't have confirmation that it is on the ground, but if one were to form, which one could form at any time, it's likely to be between Old Jacksonville Highway and Highway 155 right there. A lot of businesses on the Southwest Loop. You've got the Honda dealership, you've got Pelche Chevrolet there as well, and you also have a lot of businesses on the strip there, so everybody needs to be in shelter right now as this tornado continues to push off to the east. Tyler Legacy High School, you guys are in this, so make sure the administrators and the teachers are taking the precautions with the students there as the storm continues to move in that direction. We've got a lot of lightning here at KETK as well. Or very close to the station as we look at that shear rate. Again, I'm not really seeing anything that would resemble real strong rotation, but strong to extreme, not showing those reds or those yellows or anything like that. But this is the area of concern. Southwest Tyler moving off to the east. Let me go ahead and check the National Weather Service chat just to see if we have any updates. But again, it's in the Southwest Loop that's going to be the area of concern. So we'll continue to monitor this. Looks like there are no updates there, and Neil is all wired up and ready to go. But once again, there we go. South Tyler, main area of concern. Storm continues to move from west to east. And Neil, could you give me an idea of how fast this storm is moving? I want to put a storm track on this because
right now we're moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. Once again, east at 35 miles per hour.
So east at 35.
That's a pretty good clip.
Yep, pretty good clip right there. So we'll put it right at Broadway, and we'll move this to the east at about 35 miles per hour there. We're going to have to readjust just a little bit. Okay. We will bring that up in just a second.
Right there.
So here we go. There are some of the arrival times. So if you live in any of these areas, and even if you're not in any of those areas, if you're in the polygon, which means South Tyler, near UT Tyler, Southeast Tyler, need to be seeking shelter. But if you're within the polygon in any of these locations right here, seek shelter. So downstream of this warning, it's going to be Copeland at 4:15, White House at 4:18, Chapel Hill at 4:20, Oman at 4:29, Sinclair City there at 4:32, Browning at 4:32, Douglas at 4:32, and 4:32 for the community of ARP. So again, tornado warning storm. We don't have a confirmed tornado on this or anything like that, but what may have triggered this is between Chandler and Brownsboro. There was a storm spotter that reported a wall cloud, and that's part of the reason why they have issued this warning. So very close to our studios, and if we could bring up the Tyler Tower cam shot. Don't try and go outside and see this. This is a much different situation than we had on Thursday. This is a rain-wrapped, and you can barely see the road there.
The reason why you can't, because right now they've just issued a flood advisory because it's raining so hard outside, like you said, before rain-wrapped. It's hard to see anything. Stay inside right now. A flood advisory because it's raining so hard.
Yeah. Advisory, and you know. That's been issued for Tyler.
Say this once again. It looks like rotation around Tyler Junior College, at least from the view from the Bateman area. That's according to the storm spotter. So
okay.
The National Weather Service in Shreveport has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Smith County in northeastern Texas until 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 4:03 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Tyler, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near ARP around 4:20 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following county: Smith, Texas.
Do not try and get out on the road. Remain in your safe space because this is a very intense storm, whether we have a tornado down or not. Look at all this lightning as well. This is around UT Tyler. 49 strikes over the last few minutes. 49 strikes over the last few minutes. That is very close to UT Tyler. And again, that report was near TJC. So I want to welcome in our KTBB listeners. A lot of you may be heading home from work. Again, folks, you are not going to want to be driving in this storm. I want to reiterate. Look at this rain right tornado. Yep, tornado warning is out until about 4:30 for some rotation that was spotted by a storm spotter near Tyler Junior College. So you do not want to be driving in southeast Tyler. That includes travel along the loop and travel along Beckham Avenue. If you live in White House, no traveling for the next few minutes from White House to Tyler or vice versa there, or White House to Troop or Troop to Tyler. So that is for our KTBB listeners. And once again, folks, let's go ahead and take that Tyler Tower Cam full screen once again. I want to show you a couple of things. And if you look at the bottom there, that is a lot of rain. We're starting to see some hydroplaning along the roadway, and you can just kind of see the splash from the puddles there on Loop 323. And as Neil mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of rain today, and that's part of the reason why that we do have this flood advisory. So for at least the next 15 to 30 or so minutes, I don't want anybody driving on those roadways. I know a lot of you may be getting off of work at this time. Some of the schools may be releasing. Just do not travel. Remain sheltered in place if you live in southeast Tyler. So a lot of rain. This is unlike last week. So if there is a tornado, we are not going to see it in this area because it is a rain-wrapped situation, which means that if there was a tornado, it would be obscured by rain, but a fairly intense storm continues to move through Tyler. Now let's go back to radar real quick because this is our rotation detector. Again, I'm not seeing anything concentrated, but lightning, 56 strikes. That is up from 49 just a little while ago. Lots of lightning in southeast Tyler, just to the east of the loop there. And this is a very dangerous storm, whether we have a tornado on the ground or not. And as we look at the radar loop here, looks like we do have a little bit of a hail threat. So, Neil, if any of those storm spotters end up getting any hail reports, that could be something of interest there as you go along Highway 110.
It is capable of dropping hail about 3/4 of an inch. Capable.
Yep, so capable there. So we're probably going to be seeing some dimes and nickels to the east of Tyler Legacy High School there. So there's Tyler Legacy High School, and then off to the east, that is where we do have that threat of some of that pocket change hail. And it did look a little more intense over the last frame, but once again, a little bit of a hail threat, wind threat, and a lightning threat really beginning to show up there. And we're just going to keep the lightning tracker on. But as we look at some of the locations where this tornado may have occurred or is on the ground, but again, no confirmation of that at this point. I want to reiterate that. The most intense part of the storm is going to be right in this area right here. So I'm going to try a different radar tilt out, and there we go. So it looked like we had some reds and greens very close to Tyler Junior College. That's where we had the report of a little bit of rotation, but where we're seeing the most intense wind right now is going to be in this region just to the east of Tyler Legacy High School. So it's
and just take a look at all the rain right now. This is the South Loop in Tyler, but still, it's going to be this bad no matter where you go in the city right now. You can see the wake of water with the cars, the rooster teething going on. It is really treacherous right now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, regardless if we have a tornado or not, do not drive in this. It is not recommended. Stay off those roadways, especially if you do live in East Tyler along the loop, Beckham Avenue. It's going to be some rough driving conditions there with this storm moving through the area. But once again, main threat right now for some wind. We'll go ahead and see if we can't get any wind indications there. But there you go, 49 miles per hour. We'll continue to query some of these out. So 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. It's not technically severe, but it does have the potential of dropping tree limbs and just overall blowing stuff around, blowing those trash cans around. Not something you want to mess around with, but I am very concerned about all this lightning. Look at this, 63 to 65 strikes over the last few minutes there. And again, that is a very dangerous storm. And I would say the most dangerous part of this storm right now is going to be now to the east.
Still going east at 30 now, 30 miles per hour.
Still going to the east at 30 miles per hour. So if you look at Tyler overall, if you live on the West Loop, we can give you guys the all clear. Maybe you're trying to get, Neil, go ahead.
Still looking at some rotation right now. This is according to the Weather Service on the southeastern side of Tyler, but it seems to be weakening from what it was 10 minutes ago. But the warning still goes until 4:30 this afternoon.
Okay, so they're saying on the southeast side of Tyler.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at right now. Yep. So that's right there. I'm going to have to take the lightning off because I mean we've had tons of lightning and it's very distracting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But folks, this is a lightning threat. Nothing you want to be outside in. But what Neil was pointing out there was this rotation. Again, that's going to be on the southeast side of Tyler. There's the East Loop there. A lot of people drive that at this time of day, so I'm very concerned. No driving on the East Loop, or really along the southeast loop. So the East Loop and the southeast loop, no driving there over the next 30 or so minutes. Let this storm pass before you get out on the roadways. Note the time, we're at 4:19. A lot of people get off between 4 and 6, just depending on where you work. But again, this is probably the most dangerous part of the storm, and if there was a tornado, it would form in this area. So East Loop pointing off to the east there. That's going to be very close to Rose Heights Church, and it looks like University Boulevard as well. So UT Tyler, you guys need to be sheltered in place if you live at the or if you live around the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Management Office.
And talking about the rain, how heavy it's falling right now. One ham operator is reporting train spotter reports rainfall rate measured at 2.2 inches an hour. That is a lot. 1 mile west of White House, once again in Smith County. So it is raining to beat the band.
Yeah, so very, very intense rain. And as we look at this, as we look at some of the rainfall, we'll go back to reflectivity real quick. And
let me mention this too. Also, the Weather Service saying rotation from Smith County storm is heading toward Chapel Hill.
So heading toward Chapel Hill. So if you live in Chapel Hill, make sure you are sheltered in place. This rotation, it's going to be very close to UT Tyler, but it is heading in the direction of Chapel Hill and Chapel Hill High School. That's where the rotation is, moving in that direction. So if you live in places like Chapel Hill, Browning, Douglas, really anywhere within this polygon, you got to respect it. You've got to seek shelter right now. So the north point, if you live around the northernmost points of Lake Tyler East and Lake Tyler West, that's an area of concern, as they mentioned Chapel Hill. And then for anybody listening on KTBB on their way home from work, maybe you're going back to Henderson or you're taking Henderson to Tyler. Along Highway 64, no driving there over the next 30 or so minutes. But there's your storm. West side of Tyler, we can give you guys the all clear. If you live around Tyler Legacy High School, I'm no longer concerned about the tornado threat. However, I do think you should remain indoors because we've got some very heavy rain falling, 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates around the high school right now. Let the storm pass before you do anything, but from Tyler Legacy, from Broadway pointing off to the west, your tornado threat is done, but we're still concerned to the east of Tyler of that tornado threat. And where that rotation is, as Neil mentioned, is moving in the direction of Chapel Hill. So we will go back to the base velocity just to see if we can't see anything. And again, folks, this is very, very broad. There was a little bit of rotation, not quite as much as we saw last week when we did have that confirmed EF0 tornado last Thursday evening, but it is still enough to warrant a tornado warning. So this would be the area of concern, and I mean, they're exactly right. Heading in the direction of Chapel Hill. Let me get a better picture of that. And anytime we see this, yes, there could be a little bit of rotation, but not really corresponding with anything that would be on the ground. Let me go to another product we have, our dual polarization product. It doesn't look like there's any debris or anything being lofted in the air. And what this debris detector does is it tries to show us any type of tree limbs, debris, or anything like that being lofted up in the air. And I just don't see that right now. What we would want to see is an isolated area of those yellows and blues telling us, hey, this isn't just hail, this isn't just raindrops, this is something else that's going on here. I'm not really seeing that right now. Of course, there is a little area to the south of Chapel Hill, but it's not really isolated from the rest of the colors there, so I'm not super concerned with that. But once again, still a radar indicated tornado threat moving through the Chapel Hill area. And we'll continue to monitor this until the warning expires, and then we'll get you back to the Fox 51 programming, and then we'll also get you back to KETK News at 4 and KETK News at 4:30 if they're able to let this warning expire. But once again, Chapel Hill, be sheltered in place with this storm that is moving in your direction. Anywhere along Lake Tyler East or Lake Tyler West, be sheltered in place because you are at the southernmost point of the polygon. Neil, go ahead.
Here we go. Right now, train spotter reports small hail about 1/4 inch big in White House a few moments ago. Also, there will be a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for portions of Smith, Rusk, and Gregg County soon.
Okay, so Smith,
you're on track.
Gregg, and Rusk County. That will be the new severe thunderstorm warning. And that will be for hail and wind, is that correct?
Yes, that's true. Actually, you're Carson ahead of them because everything you're pointing out, they're just now catching up to. So good job on that.
Okay, excellent. So thank you for that report, Neil. Chapel Hill, White House, we're starting to see a more pronounced hail threat. And folks, I mean, I got to say, with what we are seeing, wind and hail is going to be the threat, especially along Interstate 20. We had the storm spotter reports, which likely warranted this tornado warning. Again, between Brownsboro and Chandler, that is where we did have reports of a funnel cloud, and they probably warned on that. But it is very much a situation where we are seeing a wind and hail threat prevail from this storm here. We'll go ahead and pause this, and while I'm really not seeing a tornado threat, they're not going to issue one downstream here. Look at this pink. That could be some large hail, especially near White House, pocket change size hail. Storm spotters reported some quarter-sized hail there. So let's go ahead and look at our severe weather threats. And you might have enough time if you live in Henderson, which this new warning does include the city of Henderson, to get your car into a garage if you have one because of that hail threat that is oncoming. But
I know this right now. The Weather Service is saying unless rotation intensifies on the storm, a downstream warning will not happen. Back to you.
Okay, so a downstream warning will not happen if the rotation does not redevelop within the next 4 minutes. So if you live in the city of Tyler, you're still under a rain threat. I still would not recommend traveling in this, but you're not under that tornado threat any longer with the storm that's now pushed to the east of Tyler, but we're still under the threat of some larger hailstones to the east of White House, between ARP and White House now. So ARP, you guys are about to get a little bit of hail, I would presume, within the next 5 or so minutes. So be prepared for that. Stay away from those windows. Chapel Hill, that's about ½ inch hail, some pocket change. It's probably around dime size if I were guessing. But Chapel Hill, White House, the hail continues to move in your direction, but with this new severe thunderstorm warning for Gregg, Rusk, eastern Smith County here, the main threat's going to be for that large hail, maybe some gusty winds as well. So let's kind of reset here, and then if they drop this tornado warning within 2 minutes, we will go back to KETK News at 4 and 4:30. So let me go ahead and put this in motion once again. We're starting to see these storms intensify from west to east there. Had those storms reported there in Smith County, and now moving off to the east into Gregg and Rusk County. Further off to the west, not really seeing any additional development there, but we will continue to monitor for anything that might develop out to the west. I am more concerned with the favorable atmospheric conditions in our southwestern counties of that tornado threat. So anywhere along Interstate 20 and pointing off to the north, there's really not much of a threat of tornadoes. We do have a tornado watch that is in effect for 2 of our counties here, so we'll try and pull this up for you, and there you go. This is going to go through about 10 o'clock this evening. Henderson, Anderson County under that tornado watch. It does not include any of our other counties, which is a little ironic since we had that Smith County tornado warning. But once again, Henderson, Anderson County under that tornado watch. But I would say that to the south of I-20, I would not be surprised at all if some of our deep East Texas counties were included in a future tornado watch. Is there anything new, Neil?
You're right about the pea-size hail at County Road 292. Once again, pea-size hail at County Road 292 and Highway 64 East and New Chapel Hill. That's reported by a train spotter. Back to you.
All right, so more hail reported, and again, folks, this is going to be a storm that is producing some rather large hail at this time, moving through eastern Smith County and moving into Rusk County very, very soon. So the city of Henderson, prepare for a little bit of hail. You are definitely within this storm, or will be within the storm here very shortly. You do have a little time yet to get those cars in your garage if you do need that. You do have cover or anything like that to protect your vehicles, but still a pretty nasty storm moving off to the east. Is it still 30, Neil?
Still 30. Still 30.
So we'll track it at 30. And here we go. So ARP 432, that is within the next 3 or so minutes. Leverett's Chapel 439. Kilgore 441, Kilgore College 442, West Rusk High School at 444. So again, that is going to be where the threat of hail and the threat of intense winds are going to be. So the storm, it continues to move off to the east. They just dropped the tornado warning polygon. Doesn't look like we had any reports of a tornado making it to the ground, so that is great news. They warned out of precaution there with the funnel clouds reported in western sections of Smith County, eastern Henderson County. So some good news there. Tornado warning no longer in effect, but we do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is in eastern Smith County, about to move into western Rusk County, warned for hail at this point. But as you can see, there are your arrival times. If you're within this yellow polygon, especially if you're to the north of Henderson, you still have a little bit of time to get those cars under cover or cars in the garage, because these storms, they will have the potential to do a little bit of hail damage if they intensify any further than what they've already had. What's that?
Look at the tower camera. The rain is really starting to slack off here.
Yep, so some good news. You guys have the all clear now in Tyler. We're no longer under the threat of a tornado. We're no longer under the threat of very heavy rainfall. However, the roads are wet, so you'll need to be careful, as you should always be, whether it's raining or not, heading home from work or whenever you can do it. But again, the city of Tyler, we can give you guys the all clear from that tornado threat. Chandler, Lindale, Noonday, White House.
On right now. You'll notice it's northwest of the Crawford area. Also, it's off to the west of the Waco and Belmead and Woodway area, tracking off to the east and northeast roughly at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Area of concern, you can see with our shear marker on there right now what we are looking at. So basically we've got some rotation being indicated in there just to the south there of the Hearst Springs area, and this is our velocity. Looking at the thunderstorm inside the clouds right now, and we are seeing definitely some rotation going on in that area. As we take a quick peek and get a little bit closer into that area, again, it's just north of Coryell there, and what we are watching is this is the spot that'll be tracking up toward Valley Mills. As we put a little tracker on this, you can kind of get an idea as it pushes off to the northeast. Roughly there's 20-25 miles per hour, and that will take it up toward the Rock Springs area as well. So Valley Mills around 450, Rock Springs around 459. You need to be heading to your safe areas right now. The interior part of your house, you want to get to the lowest level if possible, and again, stay away from windows as that is moving in your direction. Also producing quite a bit in the way of some smaller hail at this time, as well as some very heavy rainfall. Once again, upstream, as you can see with our hail path that we are watching areas like the Valley Mills area, and again, most of this activity is starting to kind of gain a little bit strength. We had a little sunshine out there this afternoon, and that was just enough to kind of really get these showers and thunderstorms going. There's Valley Mills, there's Rock Springs. You can kind of notice a little hook going on right there, a little inflow notch. So that's where we're thinking that that air is kind of wrapping into the thunderstorm around the area as that pushes off. So once again, let me show you what's going on here. Here's China Spring, here's the Waco area, here's Woodway, here's Hewitt. It is to the west right now of the Waco metro area. If you are in the China Springs area, you are included in this. You start to get to your safe spot here. You want to stay away from those windows. And again, with this activity pushing off in that east and northeasterly direction, we're seeing some hail with it, along with some very strong winds and the possibility, obviously, of a tornado, but a lot of lightning out there as well. Here's the lightning strikes here or there, but the area of rotation definitely being picked up here with our Viper radar as it pushes off to the northeast. Our hail also indicating quite a bit of that out there as well. And we talked about that last night. Hail and tornadoes were going to be the biggest threats to start off the severe weather that we're seeing. And that's what we're seeing out there right now. And as Haley circles exactly what we're looking at here, we're looking at our velocity. Those are the winds inside the thunderstorm. The red indicates the wind that's blowing away from the radar site. The green is toward, and when you get something kind of matched up like this, or we call that kind of gate to gate there, that is where we start to see the rotation. And again, the radars will kind of trigger off the warning. Give you an idea here, that warning goes until 5:15. Valley Mills 4:52, around 5 o'clock in the Rock Springs area. If you are in these communities out ahead of it, you need to be seeking shelter right now. It's going to be a little bit hard to see. We've got some heavier rainfall moving down through that area here, but this is where our wind field happens to be showing the shear on this. And again, that all tracks off to the north and to the east. Around the Clifton area, as you work your way up toward Bosque County, you can see Bosque County up toward Meridian. We've got another tornado warning in effect right now. This goes until 5:15. Bosque County, again, you are included in this. Here's our velocity. There's our shear marker right now showing you where the radar is picking up the gate to gate, the shear going on there in the region. And a lot of this activity is pushing off to the east and to the northeast. So you can see communities that are upstream from the showers and the storms and the possible tornado right now need to be seeking shelter. That takes it not far away from the Meridian area, again, just north of Bosque. As we put a track on that, or at least draw an arrow out there, you can kind of see most of that motion is taking it in that north and easterly direction. It's very, very strong right now here in the mid-levels, and that's what we're looking at as that pushes off to the east and slightly northeast, 25 miles per hour. Take a look at some of the communities here that are affected by this. We are looking at not only Meridian at 4:42, but also toward the Cedar Shores area at 5:17, Live Oak Resorts at 5:22, Huron around 5:23, Whitney 5:34. you can be expecting the showers and storms to be moving through your area. They've been pulsating up and down, but again, all these right now are kind of just generated with the heat of the day. They broke through the cap, and now they're turning severe in a hurry. You'll notice on our velocity, again, a lot of that activity continues to push off to the northeast. We are watching this spot right in this area here. It kind of comes and goes. You can kind of see over toward the Cedar Shores area around 517. If it holds together, it'll be marching through your area, and a lot of heavy rainfall. Notice how it's kind of hit and miss. This is basically where the cap has broken. The cold front's still back to our north and to our west. So out ahead of the front, when you see showers and storms and severe weather, you're going to see kind of cellular here and there. That's your best bet of seeing not only isolated tornadoes, but also the possibility of some very large hail, and that's what we've been looking at right now. 2 tornado warnings in effect. Again, Bosque County as well as McLennan County, the northern part of Coryell County right now, as this continues to track off to the east and northeast. Possible rotation going on. This is all Doppler radar indicated at this time, but take a look right now as we go ahead and put on some markers.
Weather Service in Fort Worth has issued a tornado warning for central Bosque County and central Texas until 5:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Iredell, or 16 miles northwest of Clifton, moving east at 25 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Meridian State Park around 4:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Meridian around 4:50 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
Pinks out there as well as even a few blacks. Those are some indications of some very, very large hail in that area as well. So you may want to think also about getting the car in the garage or overhead or just somewhere you can protect it right now with the possible hail. And there's the velocity over the last hour or so as we put that into motion. You see how it's pulsating up and down, makes it a little bit hard right now for the computer to kind of get a handle on this whole situation. But there it is as it's moving off toward the Valley Mills area over toward the Rock Springs area. Once again, we'll update it there with our latest on our shear market. marker, and it's heading basically off to the northeast right now. Areas of concern, there we go with it in motion, taking it over toward the Valley Mills area, roughly around 450 over toward China Spring, around 511 with its current movement. And most of that activity right now seems to be holding together. You can see the bottom left part of your screen there showing that, hey, severe hail, 90%. We could see hail as large as 2 inches in diameter. So we're talking some rather large hail, larger than golf ball size. So just to give you an idea, and we're looking at most of that activity continuing in that direction. There it is right there. A lot of heavy rainfall. Again, north of the Coryell area, north of Crawford, around Rock Springs is where we're seeing the showers and the thunderstorms moving through right now. If you're just tuning in, Waco is not under a tornado warning at this time, but areas just off to the west are under the tornado warning. That is Crawford. As you work your way up toward the Goldston area, you're not included, but you're right on the edge right now as that moves in your direction. Again, these are very cellular thunderstorms. We've got one to the north. We've got another one down here to the south. If you're up in Bosque County there, north of the Clifton area, around Meridian, Walnut Springs, that's another area of concern. You need to be heading to your safe shelter right now. Best area is the low-lying areas in your house there. Stay away from the windows, bathroom, maybe you want to get to a closet. But this area right here is the area of concern as it tracks off to the north and to the east. As we kind of zoom it in just a little bit, you'll notice, though, the showers and thunderstorms that are associated with it, those are going to be consistent. It's the thunderstorms that are producing rotation that are kind of impulsating up and down here across our area. There's the warning again. As, we put a tracker on there for you. Takes it over toward Lakeside Village at 502, the Cedar Shores area. Around 508. It continues to move off to that direction, and once again you can see just north of the Meridian area, and maybe northeast now as it begins to slide just a little bit. That's the area of concern that we're seeing a possible rotation. And again, our shear marker is picking that up right in that region right there, right where Haley circled. And again, that for the most part is the spot where we could be possibly looking at not only that inflow but also the possible rotation that's going on. I haven't seen anything confirmed right now. We're going to check in with Haley and see if there are any new reports coming in from the National Weather Service. Haley?
Hey Mike, yeah, no confirmed tornadoes as of right now. These storms are capable of producing a tornado, and poor Bosque County is kind of getting hit with 2 of these at the exact same time. So we've been talking about this over the last several minutes that we've been on air. The first one is kind of up in north central Bosque County, still expires at 5:15. These are 2 pretty big cells, 2 strong supercells at this moment, but that's the first one up in Bosque. It's just to the south of Walnut Springs into the Meridian area. Even if we zoom in a little bit closer over in Morgan, all in Bosque County. It looks like they actually just backtracked that just a little bit. So still a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located just to the north of Meridian or 12 miles northwest of Clifton, moving east at 25. So there's number 1 for Bosque. Move down to the south. The very southern edge of Bosque County also under another tornado warning. This also includes Coryell County, the far northeastern side of Coryell, but I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service clips that back because most of that rotation has moved away from that direction. It's moving to the northeast at this time. Northern McLennan County, from areas from Crawford, Highland, Caldwell Crossing, even China Springs, we are watching that tornado warning in effect. So 2 areas of rotation that we're really eyeing. Both look to be pretty impressive at this time. There's no confirmation of any tornado, which is a good thing, but there's still some rotation in the upper levels, and they haven't made it into the lower levels, especially with the storm up in northern Bosque, or I should say central Bosque. The one in southern Bosque into northern McLennan, it's got a little bit better rotation with it, and I'm going to keep switching back and forth from different radar sites and kind of get a good idea as to where this rotation looks to be. I've got a couple different radars I'm eyeing, so there is a pretty well-defined cell. If we go back up to this tornado warning in central Bosque County where the shear marker pops up, that is just to the northeast of Meridian. So once again, Let's go ahead and put a storm tracker on this. Moving off to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. We're going to go 26 just to be fancy with it. Lakeside Village at 5:06. This is moving in your direction. Cedar Shores at 5:10. Lakewood Harbor at 5:14. These are areas up in central Bosque County. So that's one rotation that we're watching. It's lit up pretty well. And given the kind of structure of the supercell, it does look to be pretty impressive if we back this up and even if I switch these radar sites. So that's what we're watching up in that direction. Moving it down towards McLennan County. I know you probably got a tornado warning popping up for McLennan County, but it's the northern portion of McLennan, and that also is pushing off to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour, switching or 25 miles per hour, I should say, switching back the radar sites, getting a ton of rain from Valley Mills towards Rock Springs. China Springs is also about to get hit with a lot of rain as well, moving into Patrick over towards Rogers Hill. You'll also be getting some rain here in the next several minutes. So let's go ahead and put on another storm. Or we're going to go ahead and look at our storm relative velocity. It looks like this rotation is just to the southwest of Valley Mills in this direction. It looks kind of messy as of right here, but this one looks a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and put yet again a storm tracker on this, flipping up to the northeast at about 25. So areas in Valley Mills in southern Bosque County definitely need to be finding that safe place because, like I said, this rotation is pretty well defined. The supercells are pretty well defined as well. This is all most of central Texas is within this kind of warm front and this warm sector. We had a warm front lift up to the north, and we also have another cold front that's going to move in later tonight that's going to provide another chance for some widespread rain. But up until then, we do have the risk for severe weather, and here it is. We'll mainly see all this rain move out by about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. May kind of occur in the overnight hours through parts of the Brazos Valley, but still we're going to be eyeing this rotation here closely, Mike.
Yeah, and it looks like the tornado warning out there right now is showing up pretty well, at least with our markers here on the tornado warning for the western and the northern part of McLennan County happens to be until 5:15 this evening. Some very heavy and at least some big hail not out of the question either. So if you live up toward the Valley Mills area, the Rock Springs area, not only are you seeing some heavy rainfall out there, you're also seeing some hail that could do some damage. Again, make sure the car is definitely parked in the carport or in the garage. We're going to continue to watch this move off to the east and to the northeast there. It's pulsating up and down. We've got our marker there, and then we kind of fade away. So don't let your guard down. We've got that tornado warning in effect. There's Crawford over toward the Highland area. Again, there's Lake Waco behind me for the most part, but most of it has been off to the west. Bosque County's been getting hit pretty hard right now, but we are focusing in here just around Valley Mills and the area of concern. Once again, when you get those reds and those greens that are very bright, very close together, that's what we're seeing it. And you're right, Haley, with that hail, it's picked up a little bit. We've got some black showing up here on the hail. And again, if you look at our scale there, our legend at the top there, we're getting some large hail that's being indicated with our Doppler radar. There's the hail path. As we go ahead and get a little bit closer in there, it's kind of shifting off now off to the east. Let me back out just a little bit to show you that we've got city streets. That's right along State Highway 6. Not far away from the Valley Mills area. There's FM 217. They are getting hit pretty good right now. It's crossing right over basically County Road 337-2. And for the most part, we're going to see that head toward the Rock Springs area. You've got some hail already in the Rock Springs area, but it looks like you may see a break and then some heavier rainfall moving through very, very shortly. There's Clifton up in Bosque County, and then the other batch is to the north. So you're kind of sandwiched in between, and that's how these thunderstorms have been moving. Although, you know what? It looks like this is starting to fill in just a little bit. This cell up here to the north may be a little bit stronger, so maybe trying to kind of scoot some of that moisture up our way, although it's holding its own with that larger hail that's moving through parts of Bosque County. But if you are located in this vicinity right now, around the Morgan area, not too far away from Meridian, also not far away from basically the Cedar Shores area, that's showing some possible rotation heading in your direction. So you definitely need to be Heading to your safe area right now. Again, just north of Bosque. In that area, you can kind of see what we're talking about. There's Meridian as we put a track on that, moving it off to the east at 25 miles an hour. Takes it over toward the Lakeside Village at 509, Cedar Shores at 513, Lakewood Harbor around 517 right now as it moves in that direction. But if you live in Hearn as well as, let's say, Peoria, the Woodbury area, Blanton, you need to be heading to your safe spot right now, or at least be ready to move to that area, because this is, again, going to be heavy rain out there. Could be wrapped up in rain where you can't see what's going on for the most part. And then down toward the Cedar Shores area, that's all tracking off to the east down toward Meridian. And that other batch a little bit farther down to the south here, it's clipping McLennan County. It is out of Coryell County, at least at this time. As we get a little bit closer there, as you can kind of see there, it's beginning to push from, there we go. They've trimmed it a little bit back over toward Coryell County. It has trimmed back, so now we're looking it up in Bosque County as well as McLennan County right now, and that's all continuing to push off to the east, roughly at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. The velocity, again, indicates the wind flow that's inside the thunderstorms. The red, obviously, away, the green toward, and there is the latest track. That one's moving a little bit farther to the north and to the east right now. So as I back out of the way, you can kind of see Valley Mills. If you live in Valley Mills right now, you need to be heading to your safe spot. You just need to get to a spot where you need to stay away from windows. The low-lying layers of your house, or low-lying level, is the best place to go. Over toward Rock Springs around 510, you'll notice some, there it is again now, our shear marker picking that up just south of the Valley Mills area at this moment. And we got some new information over there, Haley? Yeah,
they said the storm near Valley Mills, I guess right over Valley Mills at this moment, continues to be very structurally impressive on radar, which I do agree, and it has a very intense updraft. So if there's going to be any sort of tornado production, it's looking like it's going to be most favorable for this storm in southern Bosque, northern McLennan County. It actually looks like the Storm Prediction Center backed off that tornado warning for northeastern Coryell, which given these certain circumstances and how kind of quickly the storm has moved out of the area, it's a good thing. So a lot of rain coming in with this cell right here, both of these cells, these tornado warned storms. No confirmed tornado at this moment, but we're eyeing a couple different radar sites and just trying to get our bearings set. So the rotation, it looks like in Valley Mills, has kind of backed off just a little bit. And when I say Valley Mills, I don't mean the one here in Waco, I mean the one in just southern Bosque, northwestern McLennan County. So don't kind of get confused with that. A lot of rain coming down with this. They also said that they did see some golf ball size hail in Valley Mills. It was on Highway 6 and FM 854. So we're eyeing that closely. I mean, the updrafts in these thunderstorms are just so impressive. And once you start to get to these kind of darker purples into that black color, you will see some pretty decent size hail. And that was kind of in the forecast for today, was going to be some very large hail, 2 to 3 inch in diameter. That's anywhere between baseball to possibly softball size hail. So the fact that they're getting some golf ball size hail in Valley Mills it makes sense. And
you're right. It's indication how strong, how big the supercells are.
Right.
That are moving through the area, and the velocity right now, as you look at the velocity, we're looking at those winds, and we've got that marker showing up there just north of the Crawford area, northwest of Crawford, tracking off to the northeast. Again, that looks like the current movement. You notice Belmead, Waco, Woodway, Hewitt not included at this time. With a tracker on it, takes it over toward the Caldwell Crossing area around 520. China Spring at around 525. We're also seeing that heavier rainfall associated with that as that pushes up. A lot of lightning out there as well. And again, those storm reports have been indicating golf ball size hail, at least back in Bosque County there, like you said, around the Valley Mills area. They picked up 1.75 inch in diameter hail. That's golf ball size hail, again, around Highway 6 and FM 854, just west of the Valley Mills area. And that continues to push off. Meridian still under the gun right now as that continues to move off to the east, roughly at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So not only are we dealing with some heavier rainfall, which could lead to some isolated flooding in some of those spots, but we're also dealing with that lightning out there as well as the windy conditions. And right now, we've seen quite a bit of winds. Those lines you see that Haley put on there, the basically the attributes for the most part indicating that the lines are showing you the direction of which way the thunderstorms are going for the most part. So she'll put a tracker on this and she's going to drag it off to the east roughly at about 24, 25 miles per hour. So again, if you live over in the Cedar Shores area, you need to be seeking shelter right now. This is a tornado warning. Possible tornado associated with the thunderstorm that's moving through here. A lot of heavy rainfall and lightning. You can see Lakewood Harbor around 5:19, the Woodland Hills area at 5:30. As you work your way down the board there, basically over toward Peoria around 5:48. That is all taking a due easterly track for the most part. You'll notice, though, the showers and storms now beginning to move through parts of Bosque County. That's picking up as well, too. So Bosque County, you're not looking at clear skies right now. You're looking at some heavy rainfall, possibly some small hail. But just to your north and around Meridian, seeing some very strong possibilities of rotation. And then as we hit down toward Valley Mills, this one is more distinct. And as we look at our debris detector here, as again more information is coming across from the National Weather Service right now, that this is the one that we need to be on the lookout for right now, especially if you're in the China Springs area and that's moving off in your direction. Well defined, Haley.
Yeah, exactly. They are talking about the potential for, it looks like there's a developing it looks like there is a developing tornado west of Valley Mills. Looks like it has some intermittent touchdowns. So that's why I pulled up our debris tracker to kind of get a good sense and maybe a good idea. Multi-vortex tornado with this storm right over Valley Mills. So this is in the southern portion of Bosque, not the Valley Mills off of Waco, in Waco. So just kind of a clarification with that. Once again, I'm kind of backtracking and kind of pulling our radar scans back and forth to get a good idea as to exactly where this rotation is. It gets kind of cluttered, and I'm going to actually switch our radar sites to get a better idea as to where exactly it could be. But within that direction where that little red circle is popping up, that's where that rotation looks like it looks to be out ahead. So once again, I'm going to pull up a storm tracker on this. So people in Valley Mills over towards Caldwell Crossing in northern McLennan County, pushing off towards China Springs, Bosqueville. This may even move into Lacey Lakeview, Belle Meade. There's no tornado warning within this area along I-35 from Elmont to Lacey Lakeview to Belle Meade. But if this rotation holds up, which it more than likely will given the certain atmospheric conditions we have in place today, very warm, humid air overhead. We also have a very unstable air mass given the, we saw a little bit of sunshine here in Waco not too long ago, so that also doesn't help when it comes to anything with severe weather throughout the day. So once again, let's go ahead and put a storm tracker on this.
And they're saying, Haley, too, that there a brief funnel cloud and rotating wall cloud looking southwest about 1 mile from it's Texas 317, but we're just south of Valley Mills, which you're on right now.
Yeah, so if you're in the Caldwell Crossing area, that's several minutes away. Let's see if I can get it a little bit, get any areas closer to that. I don't think it'll let me pop it up. Nope, but if you're just south of Valley Mills, or if you're in Valley Mills to Rock Springs, to Caldwell Crossing, to China Springs, you need to get in that safe place as we speak. What are they saying?
Yeah, they are saying right now there are 3 supercells, as you can see, Haley, that are going on at this time. 1 near the Valley Mills area, 1 northeast in Meridian, and 1 in up north, closer to the Dallas area. Very large hail possible with all of these, and it looks like right now the larger hail is in the storms to the north of us, which is some good news. But the Valley Mills storm is still very impressive on radar concerning the possibility of the tornado. And so they're continuing to watch this very, very closely right now. The storm, again, that's just very close to Valley Mills, to the south of the Valley Mills area, because it does have, again, it's very impressive on radar here. The structure on it looks like it's, it's supporting definitely a possible tornado, and that's why the Weather Service is very concerned with this right now. Most of the movement has been off to the east. So once they kind of move south right now of the Valley Mills area, if you're in China Spring, the Caldwell Crossing area, even Lake Waco, you need to be heading to your safe spot right now, because this is a dangerous situation, and we're looking at some larger hail associated with that as well. At least some hail that's being kind of put out there in the Rock Springs area, Valley Mills, and that it's tracking off to the east there. If you live in, again, China Springs is a big area here. There's a lot of activities going on with China Spring High School and stuff like that. You need to be thinking about heading to your safe spot if you live over toward the Willow Grove area, as well as areas just very close to that vicinity there. You need to be thinking about where to go. There's Lake Waco off in the distance. There's where you need to go right now. The best place, if you have a tornado shelter, use it. That's what it's for. It's for these times when we have a tornado warning, and the tornado warning is still in effect. If you don't, and you don't have a basement here, get to the lowest floor. You want to get to the interior part of your house. Stay away from windows. You want to maybe find the bathroom. Get in the bathroom. Try to find a place like a closet too. You want to be in a safe spot there. Large open rooms, they're not good. We've had some phone calls from people that had volleyball practice tonight. Not a good idea. Those are terrible places to be in, those big open gyms. Our velocity is picking up right in this spot here where the possible area of rotation could be. And the Weather Service is kind of concerned about this at this time. We don't have any visual reports of a possible tornado, but it's all Doppler radar indicated. And we keep flipping back and forth from our debris feature here to our velocity just to see if we can see definitely any well-defined area of concern. And you'll notice with the track on there, again, back out of the way. If you live over toward the Caldwell Crossing area, you need to be in your safe spot. We keep talking about this right now, but this is a dangerous spot right now at this moment. Valley View, 531, Patrick around 532 as well. There's Spiegelville. You know where that is. That's right, 533. So it is staying right now just to the north and west of the Woodway area, but barely. So if you're in the Woodway, you're over toward Hewitt, you also need to start thinking about, hey, what happens if this starts to turn right and starts to head down in your direction here? We need to be able to act fast, get to our safe place. Once again, it's been tracking in this direction, but sometimes these individual supercells will try to find the best area of moisture, the best instability, and what happens is you'll get these thunderstorms that are called right turners, and they start to head into the warm air and kind of tail it down in this direction here, east and then slightly southeast. So if you're in Belmead, Waco, Woodway, you need to be thinking about, hey, where do I need to go here in case we do extend that tornado warning in that direction? But I can tell you, heavy rainfall, not to mention some pea to marble size hail associated with this at this time. A lot of lightning out there as well. And again, the main concern has been this tornado warning that's been kind of triggered off here by the rotation inside the clouds. We'll take you a little bit farther to the north up into Bosque County, eventually starting to cross over toward Meridian. Once we see the activity here, we can kind of see that, it's been holding its own. It's a little bit not, I was going to say, not quite as well defined as the storm cell to the south, but there's what we're looking at right there. And as we put this into motion here, back and forth, you can kind of see the time at the top, just so I give you an idea of the showers and storms that have been popping up and kind of fading away. But again, most of the activity up there has been rather strong to possibly severe. If you live in the Live Oak resort area over toward Huron, not far away from the Cedar Shores area, there's a tracker over toward Whitney. Looks like that could be under the gun. Whitney 533 over toward Woodland Hills at 532. Even as soon as 517 in the Cedar Shores area. This is our reflectivity. This is what's showing us the rainfall and the heavy rainfall that's moving down toward our area, and that continues to track off to the east. So that continues down toward Bosque. Bosque, now it's beginning to fill in a little bit. You've got some heavy rainfall moving through your area. Clifton, which is in Bosque County, needs to be on the lookout right now, because this activity is going to be sliding right across your way as well. And it looks like we've got some more information, Haley, on the wire.
Yeah, it looks like there was a confirmed tornado It looks like it was located near Valley Mills, or 12 miles north of McGregor, moving east at 20. Lost a little bit of steam with that. I'm also going to go ahead and pull up our correlation coefficient. This is kind of how we track some sort of debris. Not too well defined as of right now. If there is a tornado on the ground, there is a tornado on the ground. It looks like just to the south of Valley Mills, moving straight into Caldwell Crossing, China Springs. Anywhere that you're outlined within this tornado warned box, this kind of polygon, I should say, in northern McLennan, southern Bosque County. This only goes until 5:15, but like I said, given the kind of certain atmosphere that Central Texas is under, we are definitely under the gun for seeing some severe weather and any sort of tornado. So there we go. There's our confirmed tornado polygon just to the east of Valley Mills, over or just to the south of Rock Springs in southern Bosque, northern McLennan County. This is going to move straight into China Springs, straight into Caldwell Crossing. It looks like the rotation just crossed over State Highway 317, moving over Delmar Ranch Road, and it's going to move to the east at 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, if you live, you're right, absolutely right, the Delmar Ranch Road there. But I think you're right, Cooper's Crossing Road, if you happen to live in Cooper's Crossing, you better be in your safe spot now. That's moving in your direction. You're right, Caldwell Crossing is in line.
Yeah, exactly, in line here. So this is now a confirmed tornado. That's what this purple box pops up to, you know, what it looks like. Once again, if you're in Caldwell Crossing, you need to be in that tornado safe place now. You have about 10 minutes until this confirmed tornado, if it holds up, which it more than likely will, is going to move in your direction. You have about 10 minutes to get in that safe spot. China Springs at 5:24, a little over 10 minutes, but don't think, oh, I got 10 minutes. Okay, well, you know, I'm fine. No, you need to get in that safe spot as we speak. That's going to move into Valley View at 5:34, Patrick at 5:35, Rock Creek at 5:35 as well. And like Mike was saying earlier, these storms, especially these supercells in this very warm and moist environment and very humid environment, they can potentially take a right turn. So this storm could happen to say, hey, I want more warm and moist air, and it could come down to the south towards places like Lake Waco, into northern Waco, Belmead, Lacey, Lakeview, Beverly, even into Woodway as well. But once again, this storm, we haven't forgotten about the people in central Bosque County. That rotation looks like it's kind of broadened out just a little bit. It looks like it's more of a wind threat, so we haven't forgotten about you, but we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground just to the east of Valley Mills in southern Bosque County. So once again, Valley Mills, not here in Waco, Valley Mills in Bosque.
In Bosque, yep, there it is. Yep, the one up north, they are replacing the tornado warning with a severe thunderstorm warning right now. That definitely will go until 6:15. Again, Bosque County and Hill County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. But we're focusing back down into McLennan County here. Also, just what is that? Just right along the line almost, isn't
right.
it?
Yeah,
of the Bosque County. Again, possible tornado out there. We're getting reports in right now. This is from amateur radio right now of at least 1 inch in diameter hail being reported in the China Springs area at this moment. Again, rotation in the Valley Mills storm will pass through the north side of Waco. Again, the northern side of Waco in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Like we were talking about earlier, we're still not out of the woods here in the Woodway area, the Beverly area, as well as Waco. Once again, that storm system, and then in the next 20 minutes or so, that takes it, let's say, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be seeing that move through. A funnel cloud definitely has been reported. It's confirmed, like you said, and we do have reports of some video from a chaser of capturing that right now in Valley Mills. So we're going to continue to stay with this right now. That purple color, that means it's a confirmed tornado warning there, not too far away from Valley Mills. You can see just to the east, southeast, south of Rock Springs right now, heading over toward Caldwell Crossing in China Springs. You need to take cover. This is a confirmed tornado. You need to head to your safe shelter right now. There's the time. 522 in China Springs, Valley View 534, Rock Creek 534, Golston at 540. Take a look down there. 90% chance of hail larger than 1.75 inches in diameter. We've had reports, confirmed reports now, of a tornado in that area. So you need to seek shelter right now. If you live in the Elmont area, right along I-35, it's way upstream. But you know what? Start thinking about what you're going to do here. You have to think about what you're doing in Golston as well as Valley View, Bosqueville, Lake Waco, Beverly Hills, Belmead. That's all marching in your direction right now. This confirmed tornado is definitely moving in an easterly direction. You can kind of see the attributes that we're looking at right now, our markers showing the current movement. Once again, when you see a purple, that means it's confirmed. A confirmed tornado has been confirmed here in just south there of the Valley Mills area, all tracking off to the east. And there are the times. Once again, if you were just joining us right now, the tornado warning in effect, that is in effect until 5:15 right now for Bosque County, and the west and northwestern part right now of McLennan County takes it right through China Springs around 5:23, over toward the Valley View area at 5:35, Patrick at 5:35, Golston at 5:41. This is a dangerous situation right now with a confirmed tornado. If you are in line right now, you need to head to your safe shelter as it pushes off to the east. You want to get not only to the lowest level in your house, but you also want to stay away from those windows. You also want to try to find a bathroom, also maybe a closet where there are no windows for the most part. But we're seeing some smaller hail with that. This not to mention some very strong winds, but there is our hail path. It takes some dark colors. The darker the color, the more intense and the larger the hail is. There's the track as it pushes off to the east. There's Golston. There's Elmont. Just to get your bearings straight, there's the Waco area. It's to our west of Waco, to the north of Waco. The current movement is in this direction. You notice how it's just to the north of the Waco area here as we go throughout the evening. But remember, these thunderstorms have a mind of their own, these supercells. So just because it's going off to the east and northeast, it could turn and turn quickly down toward Waco and Belmead. So again, think about what you need to do right now, because we might have to act pretty fast, Haley.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like they reissued a new tornado warning for the Valley Mills area, and that also includes Lacey Lakeview up towards Elmont, Ross, west, even into still into China Springs as well, back off to the west. But it looks like they have taken off that confirmed tornado tag, and they have now just issued your generic tornado warning, because this storm at one point was capable of producing a tornado. It was near Valley Mills, and it was about 13 miles northwest of Waco. So once again, it has a track moving to the northeast at 25. We almost have like left turning supercells. They seem to move to the east and then they flip back up to the north just a tad. And so we're still eyeing this rotation. I'm going to go back to this severe warned storm up in Bosque, now moving into Hamilton, or now moving into Hill County.
And not to interrupt here, sorry, but I just want to say that they put an aerial flood advisory out there. We talked about the heavy rainfall. Now they have a flood advisory, Haley, until 8:15 for Bosque County.
Yeah, exactly. So this storm back in Bosque, back in Hill, up to our north, it now looks like it's more of a wind threat. The rotation is really broadened out, so the Weather Service has let the tornado warning expire, and now they're keeping it a severe thunderstorm warning because of some very gusty winds, over 65-mile-per-hour winds, and we're also looking at some pretty decent-sized hail that could be the potential for some $50 to ping-pong ball-sized hail. Oh, even larger than that. Okay, it looks like it could potentially be maybe some golf ball size hail as well. So we didn't forget about you guys up in that direction, but we did at one point had that confirmed tornado warning over southern Bosque into northern McLennan County. And if you think we're done, if you think, oh, okay, these are the last, couple supercells that we're going to see today, not really, because if we take this radar back off to the west, We still have a lot of these storms popping up along the dry line out ahead of the cold front as well. So these storms to our west are eventually going to move in our direction, especially given the very warm atmosphere, the very unstable atmosphere here in central Texas. That'll eventually move in our direction. And then we're going to get a cold front later tonight that's going to bring a pretty wide swath of some severe, not necessarily severe weather. If it's going to be any sort of severe weather, it's going to be probably some very gusty winds as the squall line moves in. So just taking a look at what the National Weather Service has said. So that storm, there's a spotter. It looks like he's about a mile to the east and the south of Valley Mills. Again, in Bosque County, not the one in McLennan County. And it looks like they are receiving at this time some large amounts of baseball-sized hail. And you could also be seeing some softball-sized hail. That's 2 to 3 inch size hail. I mean, that'll do some damage when it comes to your car, your home, your yard. So if you have time before the storm moves in, if you're already in this tornado warning, definitely you're not going to have too much time to go move the car. But back off to the east and even towards the northeast, the northern portion of McLennan County, from Leroy to Axtell to Mount Calm. Now we're back in Hill County. Penelope, Hubbard, definitely make sure to bring that car in, because you will have some time to do that. So once again, this new tornado warning for southern Bosque, northern McLennan County, that expires at 6 o'clock tonight. So we're going to be here until that.
Yeah, we're getting reports too. I was just talking to Bart. He's our promotions director out there. He's in the western part there of McLennan County, seeing quite a bit in the way of not only in the dark clouds out there, but very ominous conditions across the region. Again, he's not far away. He's across the river, but he can see over toward the Bosqueville High School in that region right now. But their threat for tornadoes is still across our area, and we'll keep it with our exclusive Viper radar right now, because we've got 2 batches at this time. We're really concerned, though, about the one there in northern McLennan County. Here's Waco, Woodway, Hewitt. It's to the north right now. This is the area of concern. You see a little inflow notch going on right here. That's telling the radars and the National Weather Service this is the place where we could possibly see some rotation, and we have seen some rotation. It has been a confirmed tornado in not far away from the Valley Mills area up in Bosque. But as we get closer into our area right here, what you are looking at for the most part, there it is. It's starting to kind of, I don't want to say fall apart a little bit, but there we go. That the tornado warning that's still in effect now has been extended until 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock this evening for this area. If you live in the China Spring area, as well as Caldwell Crossing, not far away from Rock Springs, you should be making sure you get to your safe spot right now. Again, a dangerous situation. We're looking at some, not only some heavy rainfall out there, Haley, but we're also looking at some hail.
Correct, yeah. There looks to be a spotter. He is about 3 miles east-southeast of Valley Mills as of several minutes ago. And he said that there was sporadic grapefruit-sized hail on the roadside. So from Valley Mills to this storm over northern McLennan, it's very dangerous, not only because it keeps rotating and it pulses up and down. You kind of lose the rotation, it broadens out, and then it tightens back up again. We had a confirmed tornado on this exact cell at one moment, but also it's dropping a ton of hail. This updraft in this thunderstorm is extremely strong. It's got a ton of strength to it, so it can basically loft these ice particles inside the thunderstorm for several minutes. And once again, they kind of collide with one another up inside the several thousand feet above our heads. And that updraft essentially cannot hold those huge hailstones any longer. So they drop these gigantic hailstones, grapefruit-sized hail on the roadsides just 3 miles east and southeast of Valley Mills in Bosque County, not the one in Waco. So very heavy rainfall ongoing. This is a very dangerous storm, very dangerous supercell. Still hanging on to that tornado warning for Bosque and for northern McLennan County until 6 o'clock tonight. Still eyeing that rotation. It's kind of let up just a little bit, but if there is going to be any sort of rotation, it's going to be just to the south, just to the area to the west of Caldwell Crossing, kind of in between Valley Mills and China Springs. And so that's the rotation that we're essentially watching. There goes our little shear marker again.
Popping up again.
Exactly. It kind of picks itself, you know, it kind of identifies where that rotation is and gives us a better idea as to where it could be. So going to go ahead and once again put on a storm track for this rotation, now moving to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. And it looks like at this moment, it's just barely going to pass Waco, the city of Waco, which is a good thing because this is some gigantic hail coming out of this storm. So let's stretch out the link just a little bit. I'm going to turn down some of these products as well. So that's moving into Valley View at 528. You're probably getting a lot of rainfall in that area. What I have in this storm track, the areas outlined, is the potential rotation. So if this storm, which at one point did produce a tornado, it could most definitely do it again. These areas in this tornado warning, I definitely need to seek shelter immediately because the storm at one point did drop a tornado for a very brief second. We had a confirmed tornado on this not too long ago. So that's the only tornado warning that we have here in Central Texas. But if we move it back to the northwest, still looking at some pretty decent thunderstorms.
Okay, you know what? Now that we've got Bart Cox on the phone here, Haley, if you want to zoom in toward the Bosqueville area right now, we can kind of place Bart with where he's is and where he's looking at the showers and storms. Bart Cox, he is our promotions director right now. And Bart, how are things looking where you are right now, and where are you? Hello, Bart, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Hey, Bart, yeah, can you tell us where you are and what you see?
Just tell me when to talk, you know.
You can talk right now. Go right ahead.
I am at just across the Brazos River from the Bosqueville High School. There has been a drastic change in the temperature. It's dropped quite a bit. It's kind of chilly out here now. Small hail is falling. I can see half of the sky is kind of sunny, and the other right side of it, I guess I'm facing due west, is completely dark and ominous.
Yeah, if you can hear, hear me, Bart.
The sirens have gone off in Lakeview. You can hear that. Quite a bit of lightning.
Yeah, the area to your west is what you are definitely looking at. That dark area is the concerned area around the Caldwell Crossing area. What Bart has been feeling is the outflow of the showers and storms. It's that rush of cool air out ahead of the thunderstorms, and that's why he said temperatures have dropped. It's a little bit cooler where he is. That's what he is talking about right now, and he's looking back into this area. It's very dark at this time, and our shear markers being picked up here with our Viper radar, not only indicating some possible hail right in that area, but rotation, and that's what's going to be moving in your direction. Bart, again, can you describe what you are seeing a little bit farther back off to the west? Can you see any rotation?
The skies have gotten considerably darker. There's small hail falling, about pea size. It's not real heavy, but it is falling. There's been a drastic change in the temperature, and the winds have started to pick up quite a bit. I heard the tornado sirens going off.
Yep.
It's either North Crest or Lakeview, somewhere that direction.
And Bart, speaking of tornado sirens.
We're just south of that cell.
Okay, yeah, and speaking
it's right beside us.
Okay.
And that hook part was concerning me.
Okay, and speaking of the tornado sirens, we hear the sirens now here at the station. The sirens are going off right outside the door here. Of course, the station is here in the Woodway area, and the sirens have continued to blast, and we can hear them out the door right now. And again, we're getting all kinds of information in here, Haley.
Yeah, we have a couple chasers that are out watching the storm, and it looks like they have reported a brief touchdown near China Springs. So if you're in China Springs to Rock Creek to in areas in that direction, I have put yet again another storm tracker on it. That is where the rotation is. If there's any sort of tornado, which they haven't confirmed it, a couple spotters, storm spotters and storm chasers that are out in this. They have confirmed this storm, but the Weather Service, I do believe, would put a confirmed tornado warning on it.
It just says right now, it doesn't appear to be on the ground right now, but definitely a couple of brief touchdowns.
Exactly.
Again, we're hearing the sirens right out the door here. So again, if you're in the Lake Waco area, Spiegelville over toward Waco, we're hearing Hewitt over toward Woodway. We're all hearing that right now, and it looks like that is going to be the trend. You need to be just kind of seeking shelter right now. You want to stay away from those windows, stay in the central part of your home. Basement is obviously the best place to go, but a lot of folks don't have basements, so you want to get to maybe an interior room, or you want to get to a closet. The other thing is too, Haley, if you lose power, here's what you need to know right now. Again, as we look out the door here, this is our live Centex roof system sky tracker. Look at the sky there. It looks very mean off to our west. If you lose internet, you lose power, you lose anything like, you can always get us on your phone, on your iPad. Remember, fox44news.com. We are streaming live right now, and we are bringing you the very latest information on the warnings, which way it's heading, what you need to do right now. But as we focus out in this direction here over toward the Lake Waco area, very ominous. You see the lightning going on at this time. We need to be seeking shelter at least at this moment. Once again, that tornado warning is just to the north right now of the Waco area, but a lot of the activity still is pushing in this direction, and it doesn't take much for it to shift one way or the other. You can see all that lightning. It's high based right now, meaning we're going to see some very heavy rainfall. We've got that area flood warning, flash flood warning for Bosque County that goes until 8:15. But there's Lake Waco. We were looking off to the west. There's to the north of Lake Waco. Hail out there, possible rotation in this region. You can see where that inflow notch is right now, and that would be an indication of a tornado, rotating wall cloud in that area. Here's Lake Waco, here's Waco, here is basically Beverly, and the Woodway area is just to your north right now, but you still need to be on the lookout and be weather alert, because this may slide a little bit farther down to the south and to the east, and that may take it a little bit closer to Lake Waco and over toward the Spiegelville area. Conditions right now are pretty ripe, and there are the communities that could be looking at some very active weather as it moves into your area right now with that possible tornado over toward Lake Waco at 5:36. You know, that's only in 6 minutes. Bosqueville, 5:38, Belmead, 5:50, over toward the Elmont area at 5:52. It's all marching in your direction. Just to the north right now, at least our tracker is taking it just north of downtown Waco, which is some good news, but not good news for Lacey, Lakeview, Elmont, Ross, the Golston area. That's our hail path. That's China Spring down toward the Caldwell Crossing area. That's indicating the hail continues to drag off to the east. Some of that darker colors you see in there, some larger hail. We've had reports of hail over 2 inches in diameter. There's the tornado warning. Again, this north central part, the northern part there of McLennan County, the western part of McLennan County. Waco itself is not included, although we are hearing some sirens out the door at this moment. To the north up in Bosque County, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, but we're going to focus on this right now. If you live in the west area, you're definitely going to be seeing the rain pick up. It's very, very heavy. Ross down toward Elmont, right along I-35. Areas back off to the west over toward Golston. There's China Spring, Caldwell Crossing, and again, the area of concern is being shown right there on our velocity. We go back and forth to kind of indicate and show you it's kind of lining up right where it is, and you'll notice this is kind of indication of that hook echo that you always hear about meteorologists talking about. This is the spot. We'll put a storm tracker on there for you. Take it over toward Caldwell Crossing right now. Again, the warnings continue to come across. More weather information. You can probably hear the alarms there in the background there with our computers. Rock Creek around 5:47, Patrick around 5:48. There's Lake Waco at 5:50. You don't want to be out on the water. If you know anybody out in the water right now, call them and warn them and say, hey, get off the water. That's the worst place you want to be when we've got a supercell moving your way over toward Bosqueville at 5:52, the Golston area around 5:53. this is continues to track off in that direction, and it's holding its own. Some of the rotation's been kind of pulsating up and down, but it's been very, very strong. Well-defined, a little info notch right there, and this is the area that we're kind of watching very, very closely as it moves off to the east. If you are in west, you're over toward basically the Lacey Lakeview area. The rain's coming down pretty good. It's going to get heavy out there. You could see some pockets of hail as it pushes off in your direction. That other spot is a little bit farther back to the north. As you can see, some heavy thunderstorms that are moving through parts of Bosque County, beginning to push into Hill County. Very, very heavy rainfall right along I-35 back toward the Hyco area. Seeing not only some very heavy rainfall, but some large hail up toward the Stephenville area. This is some big time hail. We've had over 3 inches, I think, Haley, was it 3 inches in diameter? Very, very large hail. So we'll watch where that goes right now. But as we get a little bit closer in here, again, you're probably just getting home for work here. It's starting to rain across parts of the area. Waco, again, it's just to your north. You're probably going, why are the sirens going on? This is why they're going on right now. Tornado warning for basically the north central part, the northern part of McLennan County, the western part of McLennan County, that run until 6 o'clock this evening. Again, we've got that tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock for all areas, but that continues in that darker color there. Rock Creek, look at that, some large hail. Now we've got a couple of those indicators being picked up there. We maybe just have one large rotation going on, Haley, but for the most part, now you can see a couple are starting to show up with that cell.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the only tornado warned storm that we have here in central Texas. It's going to be in northern McLennan County once again, moving into Valley View at 540, Lake Waco at 544. They were talking about a couple touchdowns, but we did have this confirmed tornado at one point. When was that? Maybe 20 minutes ago or so. Yep. Back off to the west towards Valley Mills in southern Bosque County. So this is the storm that we're eyeing, and we've kind of kept our eye on because it's got a lot of energy and a lot of potential in it. Back up to the north, once again, I'm just kind of going over what Mike said and just kind of getting your bearings set, but we are still under that severe thunderstorm warning for Bosque and for Hill, and that'll go until 6:15. This is mainly a very heavy rain threat, as well as some very large hail. Could be looking at hail upwards of golf ball to tennis ball size hail in this cell up to our north. A lot of lightning with this as well. Make sure to get indoors if you can. We also have a thunderstorm coming down from the northwest, and that's looks like it's gonna clip, it could be potentially Mills or Hamilton into northwestern Bosque. So we are eyeing that, but as of right now, it's still out of the viewing area. This has some it's a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. That's why it's flashing this kind of brown, light, kind of tan color. Could be looking at some baseball to softball size hail within this storm. I mean, the hail path on this is incredible. You start to get into these very dark colors, and they almost start to turn white. That's some incredibly large hail, and that's all moving, unfortunately, in our direction. So hail was definitely going to be the
Yep, and you see that there in Mills County. They just issued a severe thunderstorm warning there for a possible tornado in that area, but also the big threat would be the large hail. We could see hail as large as 2.75 inches in diameter in Mills County. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning goes right now until 6:30 for that area. And what we are looking at right now, if you're in Buffalo, you're going to get hammered. Also over toward the Ridge area, not far away from Big Valley. But it looks like that will continue to be moving through your area. Bosque report, we're getting reports in from Bosque of some very strong hail right now. We've had quarter-inch size hail being reported right now in that area. So we'll slide you back over to Waco here, and what we are looking at for the most part, again, that is the cell that's beginning to push into Mills County. That's under the severe thunderstorm warning because of the large hail. But there in Waco, as we look at where the heavy precipitation is, it just looks like it's just staying north of Waco. But this is the area of concern. If you draw a line, it could be coming very, very close. So don't take a chance. If you live in the Waco area, you need to be heading to your safe spot right now. This is no joke. This was a confirmed tornado not long ago, but now it's Doppler radar indicated tornado as it pushes off in the direction. And once again, take a look at the ETAs over there. Lake Waco at 545. Bosqueville at 548. There it is. Waco now on the board at 557. It could be moving right through that area. Belmead at 6 o'clock. The North Crest area around 6:02, and East Waco at 6:03. The colors that you are looking at right there, the purples, the blacks, indicate some large hail just north of Bosqueville, heading over toward Elmont, Lacey Lakeview, right along I-35. It's to the north at this moment, north of Waco, north of the Baylor area, but tracking off to the east. So keep a close eye on that. There is the big movement of that storm cell, and you'll notice it goes from a purple, which was confirmed tornado warning, to just the regular tornado warning, which is Doppler radar indicated tornado at this time. There is that inflow that we are concerned about right now. If you were in Lacey Lakeview over toward the Belmead area, Elmont, Ross, you should be heading to your safe spot right now. Dangerous situation. You make sure your car is parked inside. We've got large hail that's been reported with this. There it is, south of China Spring, not far away from the Caldwell Crossing area. And again, most of that continues to push off to the east. Haley, if we can go to our camera right out the door here, our sky tracker, we're starting to see a shelf cloud and definitely some very scary situations, scary clouds off in the distance. And you can see what I'm talking about right there. There it is, moving through parts of the area. It looks like we're focused. Is that Lake Waco right there?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Lake Waco. So we're focused out in that direction. So this is the area of concern right now. Don't see any rotation with that at this moment, but you are looking at, again, a live shot from our sky tracker right here in the Woodway area. And this is what it looks like if we look out in the distance here across the region. We've got a little lowering of a cloud out here, kind of like a shelf cloud, if you will, for the most part. That'll be moving through that region, and this is the area we need to really watch very, very closely. Remember, we said it's staying north of the Waco area. This is where we need to watch out for the strongest, possibly the rotating supercell here that could give us that tornado. We are also, bringing you not only the hail out there, but also quite a bit of lightning. Haven't got reports of anybody yet losing, I should say, electricity. But if you happen to lose it, remember just to download fox44news.com or Fox44 News app. Make sure you get it on your iPad, get it on your phone. That will definitely help you through it. We'll give you live information as we stream this live here. Our velocity, we're picking up 2 shear markers right now. Here's Lake Waco. So what you were looking at out there right now is one of these here. Just because we think it may be just staying a little bit to the north, at least that's what the direction right now of the box is. That means don't let your guard down here in the Waco area, because if you put a track on that, it could be taking it right on top of Waco right now. We're very, very close. If you are in the Lake Waco area, you should be taking cover because that's moving in your direction. There we go, over towards Spiegelville, Waco, over toward Belmead, Beverly Hills. All those areas right now need to seek shelter right now because it is marching in your direction. The purple color indicate a little bit in the way of some stronger hail, but also very heavy rainfall in that area. South and east of China Spring, and not far away from the Caldwell Crossing area, we're getting reports of some large hail, at least at this time. And there's our markers on there. Possible rotation, not only in one spot, but in a second spot north of Spiegelville. If you're in Spiegelville, get to your safe spot right now. This is dangerous. This is a possible tornado right now. It's heading over toward Lake Waco. It's not far away from Bosqueville. We had Bart Cox talking to us earlier about what he sees. He saw all kinds of dark clouds and some lower clouds too. That's what we've been picking up on our camera. Matter of fact, Haley, if we can go back to the camera right outside the door here, let's take a look and see what we got now.
Yet, Mike, also they are going to issue a new tornado warning coming in from McLennan County, and this is going to include all of Waco and Belmead. It looks like what you were talking about, there was some of that low-level reflectivity that was increasing just to the south. That's why there were 2 little shear markers popping up. I thought it was potentially just a little radar error, 'cause sometimes you can get kind of a wonky scan, but it looks like there's a stronger inflow into that storm that's occurring. So it'll most definitely now include Waco. That should be issued here within a minute. So basically Waco to Belmead to Lacey Lakeview, all these different areas. If you're in this tornado warning, we put a storm tracker on areas that could be rotating, especially the one that's just to the southeast of China Springs. This one is a most definite. So that's going to move into Bosqueville here in the next couple minutes. So be in that the safe place immediately. That's going to be the lowest, most interior part of your home, away from doors and windows. If you got a storm shelter, go get in that. This storm at one point did produce a very small tornado, and then it kind of lifted back up. So again, it could still have that potential to produce that tornado, but if you're also in Spiegelville, this is going to move in your direction within the next couple minutes. Lake Waco, same thing, over towards Lacey Lakeview in about 10 minutes or so. So this is all tracking just to the north of Woodway, just to the north of Hewitt, Beverly Hills. This is going to clip basically the northern part of Waco, and so they actually just put out that new tornado warning. I'm waiting for it to go ahead and update.
You know, hey, let's go back and forth there from our sky tracker to our radar, because we're seeing it right out the door here. And what you are looking at there, this is the area of concern right now. We're looking at right over Lake Waco. There is a tornado warning that's now going to be extended down through the Waco area at this time. It's coming across right now. We're getting reports of wind over 63 miles per hour. Again, our ASOS has been reporting that. That's just an instrument that we use to measure some wind speeds, and that's what we are seeing right now. But this is definitely the area of concern that we're watching, and it looks like that's going to continue to track off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles an hour, and it definitely is showing on the radar as well, with some very, very heavy rainfall at this time, not to mention possible rotation going on inside the thunderstorm. So what we are watching right now, it's kind of like almost like a lowering for the most part, the shelf cloud, but we would see some rain off in the distance here, and this activity on this supercell will continue to track off, basically off to the east. But that's what we are looking at right now. Once again, Lake Waco, that is where our camera is aimed at right now. Let me back out of the way. You can see, Haley, even on the right part of the screen there, it's getting even a little bit more well-defined here in the region. I mean, with that thunderstorm moving through.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like you just said earlier, the data out at the airport, Waco Regional Airport, it did pick up a wind gust of 63 miles per hour not too long ago. So you can see the sky tracker kind of shaking back and forth. It's windy out there. What we're looking at is that storm that's just it looks like it's to the north, in between Caldwell Crossing and Spiegelville. We're kind of watching two different areas and eyeing two different kind of rotation within the storm. It's got a lot of energy, it's got a lot of potential, and it did have some potential.
Yeah, and the sirens, can you hear the sirens out there, Haley?
Yeah, the sirens are now going off here in Waco, so we are watching that. I'm going to flip it back to radar to kind of get you a good idea as to what we're watching. So our station, our camera is set up shop here in Woodway, so that camera is pointed out within this direction, so it's up to the northwest is what we're looking at. And that storm, like I said, now a tornado warning it's now been included for Waco, for Belmead, for Lacey Lakeview, Elmont, all these areas, and it's now pushing down to, it looks like it's got a more southeasterly progression, and that's going to expire at 6:30.
That goes until 6:30. You know what, Haley? Let's stay on our Viper radar. Let's get real close here. See if we can get down to the city streets, or at least very, very close, so we can kind of pinpoint exactly where this is and where it is heading. You're looking at velocity right now, and feel free to draw on there if you like to. But there's Lake Waco, and like you said, we are looking over toward Lake Waco right now with our camera, and what we are seeing is all kinds of some scud clouds that are around it, possible areas of that shelf cloud. Also, don't have a report of any wall clouds right now or any rotation, but these thunderstorms and this supercell has had a history of that in this area. There's Spiegelville right now. You need to be seeking shelter right now in that spot because it's all moving through your area. You can see the purple color staying to the north with the hail up there, the heavy rainfall in that area. But right now, if we can go back over to our camera, maybe we can see the progression right now on this and what we are looking at right now with our sky tracker. Once again, conditions are looking like, yeah, we've got some issues going on right now. Possible, lowering of I don't want to say wall cloud out there, but it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. There was also a report in Bosqueville as of a couple minutes ago, and they were seeing some baseball size, softball size hail in Bosqueville, just near Waco Regional Airport now.
Yeah, then that's all associated. And again, when you see baseball size hail, that's indicating how tall and how strong the supercell is. You need to have large, when you get large hail like that, you need to have a real big thunderstorm that could be maybe, as high as 6 or 7 miles tall to get something like that. But what we are seeing on the bottom edge, and let me get out of the way here, a little lightning out there as well, but that is the area of concern, and you are looking at a live picture. Again, that is a live picture from our live Centix roof system sky tracker right here in Woodway, and you are looking at, again, the area of concern. We've got tornado warnings in effect right now for McLennan County. Possible rotation. We don't see anything yet kind of tailing down to the ground, but we can definitely see the rain off in the distance there, as well as the low clouds that are starting to move in this direction. So if you live in McLennan County right now, you are hearing the sirens, and we are also basically looking at the possible rotation going on.
Yeah, they're talking about that low-level rotation that you're seeing on your TV right now with our sky tracker. It's rapidly increasing, and it's right over downtown Waco, or just to the north of it, and it's on the east end of Lake Waco, so it may try to do something here very shortly, and we are watching this and monitoring this. You can kind of see, the storm rotating. I mean, that's an incredible picture. We don't get that kind of weather right over Waco very often, but we could potentially see this certain storm drop a tornado. It's had a history of doing it in the past, so that's why they continue to put this tornado warning statement attached to it, because of this rotation. So the sirens are still going off here. It sounds like it's also here in Woodway, over towards Waco, over towards Lacey, Lakeview, Belle Meade. That rotation looks like it's just to the east of Spiegelville, moving to the west, moving into western part of downtown Waco. So if you're in downtown Waco, you can hear my voice, or you are watching our feed. This storm is rotating. It's moving in your direction, and there it is. I think that's that rotation.
I think
that we're watching is
right there,
right in this direction.
I think you're absolutely right. And you're right, Haley, that is going to continue to move off to the east here. Now, if you go back to the cameras, you can kind of see a little rotation beginning to happen here across our area with that supercell moving through our area. Again, this is a live shot coming in right out the door here. We are looking at not only some lower clouds, and we're kind of shifting the camera just a little bit. Let me get out of the way here, because that is Highway 84. That is Highway 84 eastbound, just to get your bearings. But the clouds, if you look very closely, they're starting to rotate just a little bit. We've got some heavy rain off in the distance. The downtown area is in that direction, as you know. Baylor's back over in this direction. So if you're watching at Baylor University, take cover. It's all tracking off to the east, roughly about 25 miles an hour.
Yes.
And again, that picture right there kind of tells the story of what's going on. You keep flipping back and forth from our reflectivity. You can see the lightning out there as well. But a lot of this has been pulsating up and down, and we are definitely concerned about what's going on right now. This is rotating. If you take a look right now, these are some clouds, some low-lying clouds that are kind of moving around with that supercell, kind of rotating around. We've had that sunshine today. We've had plenty of instability across the area, and there it is as we get closer with our shear markers on there around the Lake Waco area. You're looking at a live picture, and that is our velocity, looking at the wind in there. It shows just off now to the east of the Spiegelville area, and it continues to track off not far away, right in that direction, over toward the downtown Waco area, moving east and slightly southeast. You know, it's going to be turning a little bit. It's trying to find out where the warmer and more enriched air is, and that's what it follows. 5:55 downtown Waco. That's within the next couple of minutes. Over toward Beverly Hills at 5:58. Over toward East Waco at 6:03. Over toward the Neal area around 6:12. This is the whole kind of the whole supercell that's marching in that direction, producing quite a bit in the way of some windy conditions. And we're not seeing a lot of rain right now here at the station. We're out ahead of it for the most part, but back off to the west, you can see very, very heavy rainfall. Some hail being reported just north right now of the Waco area. In the purple color, there's Bananas Junction, all tracking off to the east. This is moving east and slightly northeast there, but this whole line itself is moving back off to the east. So if you are in these communities, you need to be seeking shelter right now. I'm talking about the Waco area, Hewitt, Woodway, over toward Bellmead. It's moving in your direction. The sirens continue to move and are going off here across our area. This is the area of concern. We are watching this as it tracks off to the east. Now on what we are looking at, there's East Waco, down toward Waco, Beverly Hills, down toward the Woodway area at this time, all looking at a tornado warning. Until 6 o'clock this evening, what we are looking at for the most part on our cameras too is a lot of low-level clouds. We've been seeing some rotation going on, and once again, our live sky tracker. This is our Centex roof system sky tracker.
Hasn't updated yet.
Okay,
it's
that's Highway 84. Here comes another warning. You can hear our sirens going off here in the Weather Center here, keeping track. That is Highway 84. Once again, we've got that shelf cloud out ahead of the supercell, and this is the area of seeing some very, very heavy rainfall right now, starting to fall across the area, and that will continue to be really coming down at a pretty good clip. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see flash flood warnings come out for that area. Highway 84 westbound, heading down toward the downtown area. Baylor University's off in the distance as well. They are in line as this supercell is moving in that direction. The low clouds, it doesn't look quite as well defined, Haley, as it did before, but still producing quite a bit in the way of some windy conditions and some heavy rain.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that tornado threat is still very high near Waco, so stand guard with this, because at any moment it could drop a potential tornado like it did in the past. But I am keeping an eye out on our storm relative velocity. You know, that's our inbound and outbound winds. That's the rotation up inside the storm, which is what we saw not too long ago on our sky tracker. But it looks as though rain has started to move kind of in the picture right here. So we may have lost that little wall cloud that we were looking at, or that shelf cloud. Potentially, but there's still some pretty hefty rotation moving right over downtown Waco, just to the north of Beverly Hills. This is just to the north of Woodway, and once again, that is most definitely our biggest primary concern. We haven't forgotten about any of our counties back off to the north and west. We're still looking at some pretty strong thunderstorms up in Hamilton. We're also going to move into Bosque. This is going to be a very large hail threat. Could be looking at the potential for some baseball to softball size hail. Still hanging on to a severe thunderstorm warning over in Hillsborough and Hill County. That also is a hail threat, as well as some very gusty winds. Our primary focus right now is, at one point this storm did drop a tornado, and it is moving right over downtown Waco.
Yeah, they got over, if we go zoom into, if you don't mind, over to the Beverly Hills area now. Beverly Hills or near Waco, it's moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated. Also getting reports of possible hail right now as large as 2.75 inches in diameter. 2.75 is very, very large hail. We're getting over baseball size hail in that area, but that is the area of concern right now. Again, a tornado warning is in effect until 6:30. We've got a storm right now, a supercell capable of producing a tornado located right over Beverly Hills or near Waco, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So you need to be seeking shelter immediately right now if you live in that area, Beverly Hills. And you are under the gun as it's moving in your direction. You can see where Beverly Hills is right there, just to the north and east of the Woodway, the Hewitt area. Again, tracking off to the east. Take a look at some of the communities that are in line with the possible Doppler radar indicated tornado. Heading over toward basically the Wardlaw area around 606, Oak Lake at 614, Harris at 616, and Lake Creek at 623. We get you a little bit closer in. You can see the city streets on there. The city streets. There's Beverly Hills right now. You can see where Valley Mills Drive is. You can see where I-35, the service road is. The service road. What you are watching is it's going to be moving right across the highway here over toward East Waco, and of course that's where the Baylor is. That's where a lot of other communities are as well, and that's where the brunt of the storm cell will be moving in that direction. Again, most of this activity has been pulsating up and down, but that tornado warning for McLennan County goes until 6:30. Right now we're checking out the cameras. See, most of the moisture has been off just to our east and to our north for the most part. What we are seeing, though, and hearing the sirens that are going off here in our area. Sirens are going off in the Waco area as well as Hewitt and the Belmead area and down toward the Woodway region. But that's the area of concern right now. We've got that wind kind of going in and wrapping around here. The gate-to-gate shear is why we have the warnings going on. Again, Doppler radar indicated. Haven't seen any confirmed reports right now from the tornado, but you're looking at the Viper radar, and we've had some very, very heavy amounts of rain that have been coming down, and flash flood warnings have been going on just to our north right now, Haley, up in Bosque County for the most part. But we're going to stay with this storm right now because a lot of folks are just getting home from work and they're hearing the sirens outside. There's like, what's going on? I know there are folks that have lost electricity right now, or at least web service, which indicates, you're losing some power. You can't watch TV if you have, an app. So you can always get us on your phone, on your iPad. That's download the app at Fox 44 News, and we'll be able to give you the live information. We're live streaming this all the way. But that is that's Interstate 35. Up and down right there, the roads, East Waco. Well, I know this area well, down here toward the Baylor area, and just off to the east is the other side where we're seeing some heavy rainfall right along South 11th Street. There's 18th Street down toward Waco Drive, downtown, down where the Alico is, and that's where they're seeing some very heavy showers and storms. Now, the rotation on the Bosque storm was a little bit farther to the north right now, but it has weakened, so that one's been producing some large hail, and you were showing that a little bit earlier on how that is kind of holding together. But that, again, they're all pulsating up and down, and with our conditions today, we made temperatures in the 70s to lower 80s across the area, so we had plenty of energy to work with. And of course, late this afternoon, we saw a little sunshine out there, which didn't help at all, did it, whatsoever. But again, as you zoom into that area, we are also looking at some very strong hail. But we'll go back down to where the tornado warning is, and then we'll focus in on that because the sirens have been going on and off. They're off right now, and we are getting indications, at least with our tracker. We've got basically stuff that we're looking at right now that we see, especially with the hail path and our debris detector.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that rotation is also tightening up. It's now going to move into East Waco, into looks like it could move over into Oak Lake. That's a little too far north, but it keeps kind of wobbling back and forth. It'll move east for a little bit, and then it'll move northeast, and then we'll go back to moving east at 30, and then it'll drop to the southeast. So Waco, downtown Waco, if you can hear my voice, I'm going to once again pull up our sky tracker because out in the distance, that's downtown Waco. Over towards the right just a little bit will be the Central Texas Marketplace, probably getting a lot of rain within that direction as well, maybe further up to the north. But we saw a pretty decent storm. We saw this supercell move through not too long ago, and it had some very decent rotation. We watched it on our camera move right over Lake Waco, continued to trek off to the east, and so we're still eyeing this area. This is continually kind of being our main focus for concern. So within this little kind of area right here, I mean just right over Waco, just to the east of Lake Waco, east of Spiegelville, that is where your rotation is. And luckily, as it continues to pass over, downtown Waco, it hasn't dropped a tornado, but at one point it did. So we're very lucky for that. It was a cool image to see.
It was pulsating up and down. It was pulsating up when it was moving through, which is some good news. But Haley, we're getting reports too of some ping pong ball size hail. It's 1.5 inch in diameter. It was reported out at MCC. So, the hail was out there as well, and that was on their main campus with that storm cell moving through.
Yeah, exactly. These storms, these are monster supercells, and when I mean that, they have the potential to rotate, which is why we're seeing that tornado warning, that tornado warned storm, obviously here in McLennan County. But if we kind of reset the scene at 6 o'clock, I know if a lot of people are, getting home from work and whatnot, we are eyeing primarily that tornado warned storm right here in central McLennan County. That goes until 6:30, and that's going to keep pushing off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll get to that here in 2 seconds. But back up to our north, a severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing for Central Hill County. That's Hillsborough. And then we have these big supercells moving in from the west, and these are they blink in this kind of tan box. That's your destructive severe thunderstorm warning. We could be looking at hail. Potentially the size of baseball to softball size hail. Could see a little bit higher amounts of that as well. So the only warned storm that could potentially drop a tornado is right over Waco. So that is our primary focus. We haven't forgotten about those different areas back up to our north and to our west. We're keeping an eye on this rotation. It seems to be the only one that's kind of held up, and it looks like okay.
We got another warning coming. Matter of fact, while you're looking at that warning, Haley, we've got a picture from the Waco PD right now, and this was sent in. Look at that. Tiara Shipley sent this in right now. And you can see the hail hitting the windshield, or it hit the windshield, and you can see what happened. It definitely cracked it right now, and it just goes to show you how dangerous that is with the hail across the area. Again, what we are going to be seeing is not only the hail, but we're also dealing with quite a bit in the way of some very heavy rainfall, some localized flooding, and of course the possible tornado. Right now on our velocity, what you are looking at right now is the wind. But Haley, if you could flip back over to our sky tracker here in Woodway, let's kind of keep an eye, because again, the activity on the rotation, and it was a rotating thunderstorm, supercell that moved through. So what you saw live was actually confirmed. They were talking about it too on the chat with the chasers, that it was a rotating wall cloud, and that's what we had there. But we are looking again, that is east. That is Highway 84 eastbound for the most part, down toward the downtown Waco area, and that is the supercell that is moving away from the city right now, but producing some very, very heavy rainfall at this moment. Matter of fact, you can see the heavy rain on our reflectivity for the most part, indicating where the heaviest is, and it looks like that'll be the trend here over the next half hour or so. Go back, over to the reflectivity. It's coming, and that will show you that the heavier rainfall, you can see the colors there around the Bellmead area, kind of tailing up toward Axtell, and then over toward Elk. And then we look at our velocity, which is the wind inside these thunderstorms. Again, the red indicates the wind blowing away from the radar site. Our radar site is down in Fort Hood, so it's moving away, the red away, and the green is toward. And where do you get the back to gate shear there, the inflow outflow? That's where you will have the possible rotation, and that is the spot right now, just off to the east of the Waco area. Hey, we've got a marker on there. We'll get a little bit closer in there and put a storm track on there for you to show you that a lot of this activity continues to pulsate up and down with the heat of the day. We knew that we were under the gun for today here, and we knew that not only large hail, but tornadoes were going to be the big problem, the biggest threats here to start it off, and that's exactly what we're seeing. There we go. We'll put that track on there and back out of the way. If you live in the Oak Lake area over toward Neal and Hallsburg, as well as Battle and Mart and Lake Creek, you need to be heading to your safe shelter right now. Again, that spot, you see the circle there, that's a shear marker for us, telling us that's where the rotation is being picked up on our Viper radar. If you live over toward Oak Lake, 6:15, that's within basically the next 8 minutes. Over toward Harrison at 6:17, Lake Creek itself at 6:25, Riesel at 6:31. There's Black Land at 6:36 too. That little inflow notch right there, again, that is something you don't want to see, because that indicates that the wind is blowing into these thunderstorms. It gets into the thunderstorm and then all of a sudden it's rising because it's warm air. It mixes up with the cold air, and again, the ingredients for possible rotation all come together right in that area. But there's Belmead. Heavy rain right now, heavy thunderstorms moving through the area. And then back to your west. You may be thinking, hey, once that moves through, we're in the clear. No, we're not in the clear at all, because we've got another break. Now, the main concern, we've got tornado warnings out right now around Mills County, but with this line beginning to congeal a little bit, our main threat of large hail and tornadoes will eventually start to turn to some very, very strong winds. We're talking winds maybe 65 to 75 miles per hour. So some very, very destructive winds. Right now, very large hail possible around the Goldthwaite area in parts of Mills County. We'll put a track on that too, because that is a concern of ours, that hail is heading off to the east. There's some shear markers you're seeing on there right now, and as we draw it off to the east, roughly 25 to 30 miles an hour, it will take it over toward Goldthwaite at 6:10. So within the next minute or so, hopefully you've got your car in the safe spot. Over toward Pleasant Grove at 6:31, Center City at 6:32. It'll be moving in your direction, and then down toward the Rattler area, as well as Locker and Spring Creek. That is some very heavy rainfall, some smaller hail, but the big hail, as you can see with our debris detector there, is not far away from Goldthwaite in the Big Valley area as that pushes off to the east. With that whole line, it's quiet right now in basically it's in Saba, but it's just to your northwest, and that could kind of drop. So if you're in Saba, you're under the warning, and that means you need to be thinking about heading to your safe spot. That warning goes until 7 o'clock this evening. All is quiet in Lampasas over toward Gatesville and Hamilton right now, but that line is starting to fill in. Right now, the tornado warning you see over in the central part and the eastern part of McLennan County still in effect at this hour. That tornado warning goes until 6:30. So for the next 20 minutes or so, this is the spot that's been kind of producing those tornadoes, those spin-ups up and down. They've been pulsating. And again, that activity is just off to the west of the Hallsburg area. We'll put some attributes on there, and we'll throw on a tracker for you for the most part. And you can see heading over toward Harrison around 6:14, Lake Creek at 6:20, Black Land at 6:31, Mart 6:35. That heavy rainfall, you see the purples there around Axtell, Elk, that is hail. That is the hail that could be definitely doing some damage, Haley.
Yeah, exactly. They are getting some reports over in Baylor. Baylor campus is now getting some golf ball size hail. So these storms, I mean, their updrafts are just so strong. They're incredibly strong that they just loft these ice particles and hold them for an extended period of time. And those ice particles collide with one another and create some monster size hail. I mean, we've gotten hail sizes upwards of golf ball, even backwards to ping pong, baseball, tennis ball. I mean, just insane hail sizes, and that also continues to be a threat here in McLennan County. Luckily for the folks down in Woodway, Beverly Hills, Hewitt, into Robinson, it looks like we're going to miss out on this monstrous hailstorm, but still eyeing that rotation. That continues to be a very, very strong supercell here in McLennan County. Once again, that tornado warning goes until 6:30. Yeah, and that continues to be the
That'll continue to be the story, Haley, as we go toward the next 15 to 20 minutes. We're still watching that possible rotation. You see how everything's beginning to shift a little bit off to the east there. So right now it's all quiet for the most part in Mahia over toward the Groesbeck area. But Limestone County, guess what? You're probably going to be under some kind of warning here very, very soon as that's moving in your direction. The shear marker is exactly the area or the spot of rotation that we could possibly be worried about right now as that moves off to the east. But we're starting to kind of calm down a little bit here in the Waco area, but more showers and storms are back off to the east. As we get a little closer in here, we're going to hang with this tornado warning here for a second or two because it is now kind of pulsating back up over toward the Hallsburg area, over toward Lake Creek as it tracks off to the east. Once this area right here, you can see, Haley, the bright green and the bright red. Yeah, very impressive. You're absolutely right. Very impressive rotation right now, and it's been pulsating and moving off to the east. There's the tracker on it right now. We've got that tornado warning from McLennan County till 6:30, but if you're in Hallsburg, Lake Creek, Battle or Mart, you need to get to your safe spot now. This is a dangerous situation. We've got a Doppler radar indicated tornado. We've had reports earlier that was confirmed, but now this is Doppler radar indicated. But you don't want to take any chances with this. You want to get in your safe spot. Get into the center part of your home. You want to stay away from windows. Get into a bathroom. Get into maybe a closet. Stay away from anything that can break and come flying at you for the most part. Also have had reports of some hail. We've had some large hail been reported up toward the Elk area, over toward Axtell. That is our hail path. The darker colors indicate some large hail across the area, and that's what we've been seeing. We've had reports anywhere over 2 inches, 2.5 inch in diameter hail. So some extremely large hail. These are very let's say cellular thunderstorms that we are seeing across the area. They're supercells for the most part. There's one here, one there, one there. That's why the main threat happens to be not only hail, large hail, but tornadoes too, because they're by their self. They can feed off the moisture. This one can do it, that one can do it, another one can do it. That's why our main threats right now are the large hail and the damaging winds that we're seeing around, and that's why we have that tornado warning in effect north of the Hallsburg area as it tracks off. We're looking at our debris detector right now, and what we are trying to look for right now is any debris that's been picked up by the funnel or the possible tornado north of the Hallsburg area. But it's also a good indicator too of which way it's going to be moving too. So we put this into motion, heading over toward Mart, over toward Watt, and again our sirens are going off back here in the Weather Center. Haley, are we seeing some more warnings or new information?
No, they're just going to continue that tornado warning for McLennan. Still watching that severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. Now is located to the southeast of Belmead, or just to the east of the city of Waco, moving off to the east at 25. So the Weather Service is saying, oh, this rotation looks really good, which it does, you know, pulling up our velocity scanner. When you get those green colors and those red colors to align and they start to sit pretty adjacent to one another, that's some pretty decent rotation. They're starting to say it does look a little bit more ragged than before, which I do agree, but it's held this rotation over the last several minutes. I mean, it moved from the China Springs area all the way to the east side of the city of Waco, and it still hadn't dropped a tornado. I mean, thank goodness it didn't. We don't need any of that, but it's still hanging on to some of this pretty tight rotation, moving east at 25. Again, this is the storm that we're really focused on because at one point this storm did produce a tornado, so that's going to move into battle at 6:21. Mart, you're going to be getting this rotation and also could be getting some rain and a little bit of lightning as well. Some small hail could be embedded in that at about 6:29, so in 15 minutes or so. Victoria at 6:38.
Yeah, and it continues to pulsate up and down. You're right. We are looking at the heat of the day. The high temperatures today were making it into the 70s and lower 80s. So we had the fuel out there. We had a little sunshine to deal with. That sunshine on a day like today is something you don't want to see because that definitely warms the ground, which warms the air, and it makes the air more unstable. And that's what we're having to deal with. So not only are we dealing with that frontal boundary on top of us, that warm front that we had moved through late last night, it kind of stalled out as a stationary front. So right along the front is what we're talking about right now with the showers and the thunderstorms, and we've got a little impulse of energy on top of it. We still have the cold front to deal with. That's going to be later on tonight and early tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. That cold front still back off to our northwest, but out ahead of it, showers and thunderstorms have been firing. Those that cold front pushed out a few outflow boundaries, and now they're firing up with the heat of the day right along basically our western and northwestern viewing areas from the Hyco area. As you work your way down into Hamilton County, there's Goldthwaite, some very large hail in Mills County that tails it down into parts of San Saba County. Severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings are in effect at this time. These are Doppler radar indicated tornadoes, meaning that the radar is looking inside. It's rotation. They have not been confirmed, but the triggers on the radars here have been tripped because of the rotation inside. But look at that large hail possibly in that area not too far away from Goldthwaite. And that line goes all the way back to Ridge and to Buffalo and Indian Creek and basically the Brooksmith area. That is some very, very large hail, and that was all tracking off to the east. So again, very, very strong supercells moving through the area to produce hail that large and for that long a period. There's a tracker on this tornado warning in Mills County. Moves off to the east at 25 miles per hour, but it takes it over towards Center City around 6:33. Over toward Albuquerque around 6:46, Star at 6:46 as well. That heavy rainfall out there with it. And then if you tail it a little bit farther up into northern parts of Hamilton County, Haley over toward Bosque, we've got some more rotation possible there. And you'll notice not far away from the Fairleigh area, we've got a pretty strong cell on top of that right now, and that continues to track off to the east. Kind of holding steady right now, but you can see the little attributes on there, our flyers for the most part. We are talking about hail size, could be over 3 inches in diameter in some of these isolated cells. So that is nothing to play around with. Walnut Springs as well as the Live Oak area, also looking at not only some heavy rainfall, but some very, very large hail from Chalk Mountain back toward the Selden area, not too far away from Dublin. Destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and that is because of the large hail. We've had hail reports, at least Doppler radar estimated between 2 and 3 inches. That is some very, very large hail. So you have to have a super big supercell to have something that large, and that's what we are seeing here across our area. If you live in the Cransville Gap area over toward Clifton in Bosque County, Meridian, you need to be definitely on the lookout here. You want to make sure you put your car in the garage. Be ready for that hail to be moving through that area. But that tornado warning still continues, Haley, right? For the eastern part now of McLennan County is we're starting to see that beginning to push a little bit farther back off to the east in that area. Any updates on that at all? Yeah,
so we're still watching this tornado warned storm here in McLennan County. Still has some decent rotation right over Hallsburg, and that's going to move straight into Mart here within the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. No confirmed tornado as of right now, but treat it like so. Back up to the north, the National Weather Service has also issued a tornado warning for Bosque and for Hamilton, and that's going to go until 7 o'clock tonight. They are watching some area of rotation right here, so that's moving east at 30 as well. So let's go ahead and put a tracker on this where our little what's it moving east at 30 miles per hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's moving up that way.
Yeah, so it's right. The rotation is right over Ferry, and that could potentially move into Bosque, into parts of Meridian, maybe just southern Meridian, into the Clifton area. And these storms, the way that they're blinking this kind of tan color, these are destructive, severe thunderstorm warnings. These will do damage to your car. They could potentially do damage to your yard. Anything you have out there, because they are throwing down some monster size hail, especially in Walnut Springs. We did get a report of hail that was the size, it was about grapefruit size hail. So a ton of hail in these storms. If we even back it off towards northern Hamilton County, still looking at this big cell that dropped a lot of hail within that area as well. It did pick up the potential to rotate. Going now back to the southwest, We're going to drop it down to Mills, still watching that destructive severe thunderstorm warning. And that's a hail threat, huge hail in this, golf ball or baseball to tennis ball size hail being measured within this storm, moving right over Durnville, over Goldthwaite as well. And that has also issued a tornado warning within that storm as well. It did pick up some rotation in Mills County right over Goldthwaite. So once again, going to put a tracker on this, also moving to the east. I'm going to go about 29, 30 miles per hour. So Center City, this is in Mills County, and that could potentially wrap right into Lampasas and into the southwestern portion of Hamilton County in this direction. So Center City at 633, McGurk at 644, Star also at 644. Those are the different communities moving in that direction. So we got a lot going on here, Mike. We're going to stay with you up until the severe weather threat basically ends for us here in Central Texas.
Yeah, and it's going to be going for a little while too. We want to go back into McLennan County here. Let's go back there and take a look at the showers and the storms there. We're still under the tornado warning. It's kind of moved a little bit farther to the east now of the warned area. That box goes until 6:30. But if you live in Mart right now, you need to take cover. If you live in the Ben-Hur area, Kirk, Lavender, Horn Hill, you get the idea. That's moving in your direction, and this is again a Doppler radar indicated tornado in that region, and that's moving in your direction for the most part. By the way, I'm just reading here the latest report from Hallsburg on the wire, and they had baseball size hail being reported in Hallsburg. Baseball size hail right now. That is very large in diameter, and that continues to track off to the east. That's the area of concern. We'll put a track on that. We'll drag it off to the east, 28, 29 miles per hour or so. It takes it over toward Battle at 626. Again, more information is coming across right now. That was what you were talking about. That this is the tornado warning that was in Mills County, but 2 miles to the south of Belmead in McLennan County. This is important here because they've had reports from a spotter of softball size hail. This is in McLennan County here. That is 4.5 inches in diameter, 2 miles east of Waco. Wow, that is grapefruit size hail. Let me repeat that again, because this is 2 miles south of Belmead in McLennan County. A trained spotter reports hail, softball size hail, that's 4.5 inches in diameter. Again, that is a huge hail as it moves through. As we take a quick peek there, is there a hail path, but we're also looking at the tornado warning up in by Limestone County, because Limestone County is next in line, but that's going to pass near or just north of the Mart area. Multiple reports, though, of baseball size hail with this. Baseball size, we're talking hail even larger than 4 inches in diameter, so extremely large hail. Look at the clouds now. This is, again, our live Syntex, what we're looking at, our Syntex roof system sky tracker here in the Woodway area.
It's dark in Woodway.
Very, very dark. The low clouds that are moving through. That is Highway 84, just to get your bearing. Highway 84 moving that way is eastbound. We are looking at a lot of cloud cover out there. It's dry for the most part, but hail has been a huge story right now. We're getting reports of softball size hail and grapefruit size hail in parts of McLennan County. Matter of fact, that's something that'll do tremendous damage right now. The tornado warning still in effect for the next 5 minutes for this area, but we're looking downstream over toward Limestone County. There's Battle, there's the Mart area, there's the area of concern. That'll continue to track off to the east at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Once again, take a look here at the community, see if you're involved. Midway 637, Kirk around 639, Lavender at about 646, the Horn Hill area at 650, and Thelma around 653. It could be moving through your area. If you still are not seeing any rain where you are right now, you may be getting ready to get just hammered with some heavier rainfall as that moves off in your direction. There's the tracker on the area of concern at this time. Notice how it's moving a little bit farther east of the box. We're talking about the tornado watch box. That means if you're downstream, you're in Limestone County, odds are you're going to be seeing a warning here very, very soon as it moves off in your direction. Hail has been reported to be very large with the supercell that's moving through. So these are huge clouds that are moving through, huge storm systems that are moving through our area. Over toward Mart at 628, Ben-Hur around 641. Midway is 641. There's Lavender around 650. That tornado warning still in effect right now for the next 4 minutes here in the Waco area, but there's a very good chance that they may extend that over to Limestone County here. And there's a look at the hail. Tremendous amounts of hail being reported, and even back to our west. Like I said, there's more on the way here, and it's starting to line up a little bit, but right now the hail is going to be the big problem through at least 8 o'clock this evening from parts of Bosque County. You can kind of see it down toward Hamilton County, the northern part of Hamilton County, around the Hyco area, and then down south around Goldthwaite in parts of Mills County, and then Sensaba County under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. But there's our shear marker as we get a little bit closer into the Cranfield Gaps area. Some very intense wind around the ferry area and down around basically just north of Hamilton as that moves off to the east. Again, we're flashing the warning out there. These are destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. When you see that flashing going on right now with that color, that's because of the large hail that's been associated with that. We're not talking golf ball size hail. We're talking baseball to softball size hail. Tremendous big thunder heads producing these, and again Haley tracks off to the east.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here. So once again, I'm going to wrap up this tornado warning up in Hamilton, and that also moves into Bosque, the western portions of Bosque. That's your area of rotation right here, so that's going to move into Meridian within the next 25-30 minutes or so if it can hold up. So let's go ahead and kind of reset the scene.
It is our biggest truck month event ever at Nile Maxwell in Killeen. Get $10,000 in total savings on 2023 Ram Lone Star Crew Cabs, plus 1.9% financing for 36 months. Nile Maxwell's got the trucks in Killeen.
At Lorenz & Lorenz, we take care of injured people. Let us help you too.
I am really so glad that I had Ted working so hard to get what I truly deserved. Ted is...
West. I should go west to east, but that's okay. We are eyeing this tornado warning for McLennan County. This is for the southeastern portion of McLennan County, and that'll move straight into Limestone. We got an area of rotation just to the east of Hallsburg. I'm actually going to switch our radar scans to kind of get a good idea as to where that rotation is. It's let up just a little bit, but we're still watching some sort of circulation passing right near Mart. So keeping an eye on that. Backing it up to the northwest, this is also the tornado warning that we were just talking about not even 2 minutes ago. For Hamilton and for Bosque, there's your area of rotation. It's just to the northwest of Cranfield's Gap, to the east of Ferry. That expires at 7 o'clock tonight as it continues to push downstream. And then we're going to back it up further to the west. We also have some destructive severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. And this is a big hail threat. We're seeing hail, baseball to tennis ball to even grapefruit size hail in some of these cells. I'll even turn on some of our hail swats and take off the severe alerts and whatnot. I mean, just monstrous hail falling out of these storms. And last but not least, we are watching still a severe warned storm for portions of Goldthwaite back in Mills County. That is a tornado warned storm. Nothing confirmed as of right now. We did have something confirmed not too long ago, just to the west of Waco. It was moving out of Coriel into southern Bosque, northern Waco. That was confirmed at one point, but it was very, very small. This is the last kind of tornado warned storm that we're looking at this moment. So a lot of activity going on once again. I mean, this is going to be with us for, I would probably say, the next several hours if I had to guess. So
yeah, it's
a busy night for us.
Absolutely. I think the computer models have most of it to our east of I-35 by 10 o'clock tonight, and then down toward the Brazos Valley, roughly midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning before it exits. But we are getting reports in right now. Baseball size hail measured in the Walnut Springs area. Again, baseball size hail is 2.75 inches in diameter. The cell that was in Mills County, the circulation has weakened a little bit. That's just east of the Goldthwaite area. So that is some good news, but still some very large hail with that. And as we look at our hail path, that's Hamilton County, Bosque, down toward McLennan County, Hill County, all looking at some very, very large hail. That hail, the large hail just to the north of the Waco area, just to the north right now of Riesa. Hallsburg, you're seeing some hail. Mart also hail. Again, we've talked about that tornado warning being extended for Limestone. Guess what? It has been now. A tornado warning for Limestone County. That's also going to include the northern Falls County area as well. Circulation is passing right near Mart at this time. Again, this tornado warning is still in effect right now until 7:15 for that region. We're kind of getting two right now, picking up on two circulations possible in that area with our velocity around Mart. Mart, you need to be in your safe spot right now as it's moving through. Again, you want to get inside your sheltered area. You want to be in a bathroom or someplace where there's no windows, that is for sure, as that pushes off to the east. We'll put a tracker on this and give you an idea of what's going on. What you are looking at for the most part is it's heading over toward Mart here in the next couple of minutes. Midway 6:45, Big Hill is 6:52, Pleasant Grove. You can notice very close to 7 o'clock, same story with Thelma. We've had a lot of wind out there. We've had the hail as well as the lightning out there. If you happen to lose electricity, you can catch us on your app, your phone, your iPad. Remember, just make sure you download the Fox 44 News app. We are live streaming this right now, so what you are seeing, you'll see the same thing on your phone or on your iPad, and you'll have the very latest on the warnings and how long they're lasting if the storms are moving toward your neighborhood. But that's a close-up there of our reflectivity. Mart over toward the battle area, the pink and basically the black indicating some very large hail. We've had reports of hail ranging from 2 inches in diameter to as big as 4.50 inches in diameter. Some very, very large hail. Take a look at that. 4-inch, well, that's softball size hail. That 4.5, though, is grapefruit size. We don't even have it on the map. That's how rare. We don't see it very often, that's for sure. Baseball, 2.75. To be a severe storm has to be at least 1 inch in diameter, and that's quarter size, and everything's been well above quarter size here across our area. Velocity indicates where the wind is blowing inside these thunderstorms, and that's kind of lining up here where the heavier rainfall is, and the little notch around Mart, right in that spot right now. Need to be in your safe spot. I can't repeat that enough. In the Mart area over toward Ben Hur, Midway, Kirk, down toward Otto, you need to be on the lookout here for, this is the Doppler radar indicated tornado. So you might not be able to see something coming your way, but it's being seen by radar inside these clouds. Our shear markers are going up, but this is the spot right here. If you live in Mart, you know what I'm talking about. That's basically some very strong inflow that we're seeing across the area, just north of the Otto area, over toward Midway around 647, Big Hill at 656, Horn Hill at 701, Pleasant Grove at 703. As it continues to move in that direction, you'll notice again the warnings are still in effect. That goes until 7:15 for most of it, and there it is right there. You can see it on your screen. We are watching that. Mahia, for the most part, maybe we can take our Mahia sky tracker up in that spot. Maybe we can see something off in the distance, but right now, what we are watching, some heavy rainfall and definitely some hail possible in those storm cells. Again, our network of our live Centex roof system sky trackers here. Once again, that is in the Woodway area, looking over toward Lake Waco at this time. This is Temple. What we are seeing in the Temple right now, again, on top of the Kyle building in downtown Temple, overcast conditions down toward Killeen, One Killeen Center, and here is Mahia. We're on top of the Civic Center in downtown Mahia. That is City Hall for the most part, and a lot of clouds going on out in the distance. No precipitation, at least at this moment, being reported at this time, but that's what you're seeing with our live Centex roof system sky trackers. There's the big picture. This is starting to congeal just a little bit. We're still getting reports of tornado warnings, although some of the tornado warnings are really talking about the large hail that's included in that. And that, again, will be the big concern, too, as it heads over toward Clifton and Bosque County. southeastern parts of McLennan County, starting to push from Hill County over toward Navarro County, as well as Limestone County. Staying to the north right now, Bell County. Bell County, you're probably, what's going on? All right, well, it's all to your north right now. Pretty quiet in Coryell County as you work your way down toward Lampasas. You'll notice off in the distance, though, some lightning, some very low clouds. That is the line that's beginning to fill in. We do have some warnings in effect for San Saba down in San Saba County, and that is all tracking off to the east, roughly at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, and that's going to be the story at least for the next half hour or so. We're talking about those warnings, but they're still going to keep their strength together. We've got the tornado watch in effect for our area. That includes all of central Texas. That goes until 10 o'clock tonight. There it is, and that is going to be with us in the area of concern. That's why we've been seeing all those tornadoes. You see the flashing, kind of the tan box. That is a destructive, severe thunderstorm that we're seeing in that region right now. The rotation, again, Haley, is increasing south of Mart on the McLennan County, Limestone County area right now, and it's beginning to turn a little bit more to the right. Remember how we told you it's turning more of a right? We call those a right turner. Or they're making a right turn. They're called right turners because they're going where the moisture is the greatest. The instability is the greatest. So this is starting to turn right a little bit. So if you live in the Big Hill area, you live down south of that area, you need to be on the lookout here because this cell could turn a little bit farther and head to the southeast here very, very soon. That's our current track right now. But we could be seeing it turn to the right. Take a look at some of those counties. If you are in those areas, you need to be seeking shelter over toward Midway, Ben-Hur, Kirk around 648, over toward the Big Hill area at 655, Thelma at 701, and look at the dark colors just above Mart, just to the north of Mart. That is some large hail being reported at this time. That's all marching off to the east. So we're not only talking possible rotation with a funnel or a tornado, but we're also talking some large hail that's moving over toward the Lavender area, Ben-Hur. There's that tornado warning now that's been extended. That's past 7:15. Haley, I think that one goes until 7:15 for that region. We're still looking at that strong surge of air, and you throw it on the lightning out there with it. We're getting a lot of lightning reports across the area. I haven't seen much in the way of any storm reports, meaning I haven't seen much in the way of any damage, or I haven't heard anything of any power outages, at least at this time, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. We're going to be looking at definitely the possibility of that occurring here with that heavy rainfall, some isolated flooding as well. And it looks like that rotation now is occurring kind of very close to that line. They were talking about the McLennan County line over toward Limestone County right now as it pushes in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here across Central Texas, and honestly, this is a lot more than what a majority of the viewing area is really seen over the last probably couple of years, especially in this circumstance where it's all kind of coming in at once and every area is at least getting hit with something. Coryell County, Bell County, down towards the south in the Brazos Valley area, you guys have remained relatively quiet. It's still pretty cloudy over there. I'm seeing a little bit of drizzle in Temple, but for the most part, most of the severe weather has stayed back up to the north. Tornado warned storm in southeastern McLennan, moving into Limestone. Over in northwestern Falls, we have another tornado warned storm back off to the southeastern portion of Hamilton County into Bosque County, watching that rotation over there as well. And then we are still keeping our eye further to the west of that in Mills, watching a tornado warned storm in Mills County that goes until 6:45. So I'm going to go ahead and put tornado trackers, storm trackers on all three of these tornado warnings essentially, and kind of get you a good idea as to what we're looking at. So once again, Mills, moving into Mills, this rotation doesn't look too impressive in my opinion, but this is going to be moving, it looks like it's just to the east of Goldthwaite, could be moving into the Star direction within the next several minutes or so, just between Star and Moline. Again, this is in Mills County. This expires in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to, I would be kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if they let that go to expire because, like I said,
Kind of washed out a little bit.
Exactly. It doesn't look too impressive to me.
But you see that one here going up to up north, Haley?
Yes, yeah. So there is some broad rotation out there just east of Cranfill's Gap. That's what we're looking at here right now. And there we go. There's our little tornado tracker that pops up for us. So just to the east of Cranfill's Gap in Bosque, this is also moving at a pretty nice clip off to the east at 25 to 30 miles per hour. So going to go ahead and put, once again, another storm tracker on this certain type of rotation that we're seeing just to the north of Waco, moving into Norris at 645. Crossroads Store at 647, Clifton at 656, and Pendle at 701. That could also potentially, if it holds up, we could get some rain in parts of northern McLennan County if that continues to hold up. But given the amount of rain that Central Texas, northern McLennan County has really seen over the last several minutes, I'm not too sure. But also given the atmospheric dynamics that we're seeing today, that could also be a possibility. So once again, that's the second tornado warned storm. The third one is just over the county line of McLennan County into Falls, into Limestone. Still eyeing that rotation. This storm at one point crossed right over the northern portion of Lake Waco. It moved east right over downtown Waco and did absolutely nothing, which we were so thankful for. It just was kind of rotating. We watched it rotate on our sky tracker. And so once again, there's that rotation we're watching. It looks like it's just to the west or could be to the southwest of Ben-Hur. That's in Limestone County. Once again, this tornado warned storm goes until about 7:15. So tornado tracker on this. I'm going to make this just a little bit wider just to kind of get some breathing room here. So moving off to the east at roughly 30 miles per hour. I'm going to go 27. This could potentially move into Big Hill at 647 if it happens to have more of a right turn with it as well, which it more than likely could. If it needs kind of that more warm and moist air, it's going to move to the right, meaning it's going to move down to the south in this direction. So that could not be the case with that. So we're going to eye that here over the next several minutes, but that's also going to move into the community of Lavender at 650, into Red Hill at 708, Groesbeck at 706, Center at 720, LaSalle at 721. That's all in Limestone County. So those are the tornado warned storms. We're keeping a close eye on them. It looks like they did went ahead and expired this tornado warning for Mills County. So Mills, you were not in the clear, but you're in the clear in terms of any tornado warning at this moment. Don't let your guard down though, because that could potentially spike up once again, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. Once again, we're going to go west to east in terms of what thunderstorms we're seeing and what kind of threats we're seeing. San Saba looking at a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock, and this is a big hail threat. We could be seeing some baseball size hail embedded in this. It's just going to be to the northwest of San Saba into Richland Springs. So that's what we're watching as well. Mills still kind of under the gun. You guys did have some monster hail not too long ago in this kind of grayish white color. That's some huge size hail. Could be looking upwards of 3 inches.
Yeah, and they just issued a flash flood advisory for Mills County. You were talking about that heavy rainfall?
Yes, yeah.
They got too much rain over a short period of time.
Right, yep, there it is. So flash flood, or aerial flood advisory in effect for Mills County, and that's going to go until 8:45 tonight. Back up to the north, over towards Bosque, over towards Hill County, still that destructive severe thunderstorm warning still flashing. That's in effect until 7:30. That's a hail threat once again, very large size hail. Over in Walnut Springs, just the north of Walnut Springs, we saw hail upwards of 4 inches. That is about grapefruit size hail. And I don't know if you've ever seen ice the size of a grapefruit falling from the sky, but I most certainly do not want to see that. So I hope everybody got their cars in the garage, got that out of the way. It looks like some of those destructive severe thunderstorm warnings have really backed off, which is incredible, but we're still hanging on to a couple tornado warned storms. So, I mean, hail has been a huge threat with these storms. That was going to be kind of our primary threat. What comes after that? very close to it was going to be an isolated tornado or two. So that's what we've been eyeing here across central Texas. So the only kind of strong storm, it looks like it's off in Bosque into Hill County that expires at 7:30. That should push out of here by 7:30. Very large hail, as well as San Saba. We're still holding on to a severe thunderstorm warning. So let's go back to the rotation in southeastern, what is this, McLennan, Northern Falls into Limestone County. Now it looks like the strongest rotation is just southeast of Mart. This storm has really held up this rotation over the last probably 30, 45 minutes. It hasn't dropped a single thing. Thank goodness, like I keep saying, but it's had such great energy that it's just been rotating and rotating and rotating. We saw a couple little, we could have seen like a little bit of funnel clouds. I think it was just west of China Springs, probably about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. I've lost track of time, but we saw a couple funnel clouds. We did at one point, this storm that's right over, you know, Mart into Midway. This is now in Limestone County. This at one point did drop a very brief tornado a couple hours ago as well, but we're still hanging on to this certain rotation. Let's go ahead and put a storm tracker on this.
We'll cross 339 north very, very soon here. Ben-Hur area.
Yeah, that's going to move straight into Ben-Hur at about 6:47, so in the next minute or so. So if you're outlined in this box right here in this storm track, you need to be getting in that safe place or at least finding it as soon as possible. Midway, this is going to move into Midway in Limestone County at 6:49, Lavender at 6:55. This storm, I mean, it's continued to have some pretty strong rotation, but it hasn't dropped any sort of tornado. Thank goodness, you know, I keep saying that, but it's continued to hold this very, very strong energy. So once again, we're eyeing that rotation. There has not been a confirmed tornado with this certain cell in quite some time, but we're keeping a close eye on it. Again, we still haven't forgotten about anybody else back up to the north and west, and it kind of looks like the severe weather threat way off to the west in this direction has started to die down, which is a good thing. When these storms
starting to weaken, you're right.
Yeah. When these storms started to come in from the northwest, I mean, they were lit up in this kind of tan color right here. These destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, and I thought, okay, here we go. You know, the western portions of our viewing area are going to get hit with some monster hail, which you guys did. But it looks like the hail threat has weakened significantly, which is an incredible thing.
Yeah, yes. You're absolutely right. And you know, those thunderstorms that came in earlier this afternoon, they had an atmosphere that wasn't even touched or worked with, and that's why they got going. But now this line is going to go through the area that already saw the strong thunderstorms move through, so they're having a harder time. And again, as we update you on that tornado warning over toward Falls County as well as Limestone and extreme eastern McLennan County until 7:15, severe thunderstorm is still capable of producing a tornado. It was located near Mart, about 13 miles to the northeast of Marlin. Is moving southeast. See, it is turning right now. It's moving southeast at 20 miles per hour at this time. So it looks like if you're in those areas just to your southeast, we knew it was going to take a right turn because it's taken a turn to where more moisture is available, where the conditions are more favorable for it. So instead of going east, now it's going southeast. And if you are upstream from that, you need to be heading to your safe spot now. Anytime you see a right turner, you need to take cover because that's gaining strength. And that's what's going to be happening right now. You can kind of see where it is over toward the Ben-Hur area. But if you live in Big Hill, 655 over toward Pleasant Grove around 705, Thornton 716 over toward Davis Prairie 722. You need to be heading to your safe shelter right now. You can see the backside of this the cyclone basically over toward Mart, seeing some very heavy rain and some possible hail in that area. That's on the backside. Out ahead of it though is not where you see the hail. It's behind it and to the north, and that's what we're seeing as it tracks off now to the southeast roughly at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So you need to be taking your safety into consideration right now over toward that area because of that. And we also have the destructive severe thunderstorm warning in effect up in Hill County, the eastern part of Bosque County. That goes until 7:30. And then Clifton, it's knocking on your door there. That is a possible rotating thunderstorm that could bring you an isolated tornado or a spin up. Otherwise, some heavy rainfall, a lot of thunder and lightning, and some small to medium-sized hail definitely possible there from Bosque down toward the Clifton area, Crossroads Store, heading over toward Hearst Spring, just to the east now of Cranfill's Gap. There it is, circled for you, heading over toward Pendle. You need to be definitely on the lookout there around Rock Springs, not far away from the Womack area as that moves in your direction. That is not only some gusty winds, but that's heavy rainfall and possibly a tornado in that area as that moves off. Velocity shows exactly what's going on with the heavy wind inside the thunderstorms. There's our hail path, and this area right here from Meridian down toward Crossroads Store. That's not only some heavy rainfall, but some hail included in that, along with some very strong winds. Again, rotation not out of the question with that. Now we're getting a little white, maybe a little display error for the most part. Hail, or that's tailing up. That's the strong hail. It's already on the top end. I'll tell you what, I've not seen that before, but I know it's been pretty strong there. It gets to the black colors, and then now we see white, indicates some very large hail. And we've seen some hail 4 inches in diameter, which is softball, then 4.5 inches in diameter, which has been grapefruit size hail in some of these thunderstorms that have been rolling through our area. There's Corey L. as you work your way up toward the Hearst Springs area. That is a very, very intense line of showers and thunderstorms producing a possible tornado, not to mention some large hail as it tracks off to the east. If you're in Clifton right now, take cover. That's heading in your direction here. You could see some hail. Hopefully you got the car in the garage right now. That definitely means business as it's moving up in your direction. We are also getting reports of some very heavy rainfall. There's been numerous reports, Mills County, parts of Bosque County, under aerial flood advisories right now. So this rainfall is great. We need the rainfall, and hopefully we'll see quite a bit. And as we check out our rainfall totals here over the last 3 hours, you'll notice most of it staying to the north of Waco, also to the north of Sinsaba. There you see the legend at the top of the screen. It gives you just kind of an idea there, maybe a 2 to 4. But a lot of rainfall over a short period of time causes that localized flooding, and that's what we're seeing north of Waco here in McLennan County. That's some great news for the drought, that is for sure. And that continues as you work your way just north of Riesel, over toward Mahia, as you follow the Highway 84 over toward Groesbeck, seeing some nice rainfall at this moment in parts of Limestone County. But areas to the south haven't seen much, if anything, down in Bell County, Lampasas County, not much out there whatsoever. So that definitely may change as that line kind of comes together, congeals off to our northwest, and that begins to move in our direction. Once again, it's 6:53 right now. We've got this tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock this evening, with the line of showers and storms still moving across. I mean, we've been under an enhanced risk of severe weather here for the last couple of days. We knew we were going to start off with the threat of large hail and isolated tornadoes, and that's what we've been seeing. Once the sun goes down and we start to see these thunderstorms kind of converge together, then wind becomes a huge threat, and that may be the problem here later on tonight. We've got reports of maybe just a few people without electricity right now or power, but wait until that wind gets going. 70-mile-per-hour wind will knock over anything out there and cause a lot of problems, not only with your internet, Haley, but with your phone. Oh, absolutely. I do want to give an update that the tornado warning in Bosque, this will be allowed to expire, and it's just going to be replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning, and large hail is still going to be the primary threat. So once again, that's going to expire. Looks like it's going to expire at 7 o'clock for Bosque and for, well, it was for the eastern portions of Hamilton, but that's far out of Hamilton's area now. So that'll expire at 7 o'clock. The rotation has basically weakened. It's kind of let go, so that's very good news.
Still hanging on to a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. These are not ever good that you want to see these kind of flashing polygons. So very large hail intertwined with that in parts of Hill County, even into back off into Bosque as well. So still watching that hail. Upwards of softball size hail. So the only tornado warned storm that we're really eyeing is essentially this storm right here, and it looks like our tornado debris signature is actually popping up.
It is, yeah, it is. That's not good when you see that.
Yeah, that's not good at all. That is just to the west of Big Hill in Limestone County, and it's also this primary rotations in the northern portions of Falls into the western portions of Limestone. It looks like McLennan County should be basically out of this tornado warned storm, and I wouldn't be surprised if they back off and take McLennan County out of that as well too. So could be seeing some very, very tight rotation. If we turn on our correlation coefficient product, it basically shows any sort of debris being lofted into the air by a tornado that could be on the ground. We're not seeing that at this time. So that's your rotation right there. It looks to be very, very strong. Once again, no indication of a tornado at this time, but this storm, I mean, I think at some point it will drop a tornado. Hopefully it's out of our viewing area before it does that, but it's had a lot of strength. It's had a ton of energy, and I'm surprised it hasn't already, but that's a good news that it hasn't. So once again, let's put a tracker on this. Anybody to the east of this kind of gray signature popping up, you're going to be wanting to get in that safe spot as we speak. So that's Big Hill to Buffalo Mop. This is in Limestone. Moving to the east, let's go, I think it was about 20 miles per hour. I'm going to just bump that up a little bit higher to 23. Pleasant Grove, people in Pleasant Grove and Limestone need to be in that safe spot. Into Davis Prairie at 718, Groesbeck at 718 as well, Red Hill at 719. So make sure to get into that tornado safe place as we speak, because once we get these signatures starting to pop up, that is not a good sign. So we're keeping a close eye on that, however, and we're going to watch that as it continues to move off to the east at about 25 miles per hour. So they also did issue a flash flood warning for Bosque and for Hill, and then they're going to continue that aerial flood advisory. So basically what that means is there's a ton of rain over one certain area for quite some time, and there you go. That's how you get your
flood warnings.
Flood warnings, correct. I couldn't think of the word.
That's
so
all right.
Let's back that up and I'll show you where this flood warning is going to lie. For Bosque and for Hill until 10 o'clock tonight, yeah, that's a lot of rain that's been dumped over that area over a short amount of time. So when you get these flash flood warnings, that's not a good thing. Your low-lying poor drainage areas are, obviously going to kind of hold some water for quite some time. So also a lot of ponding on the roadways as well. We are watching that up to our north. Everywhere else looks to be in the clear. There's a couple aerial flood advisories that could be for your small creeks and streams across the viewing area, but we currently have that product turned off. So what we're really concerned about and what continues to be kind of our primary focus and really has been kind of the strongest of all storms in terms of rotation was the one right here that has now moved out of McLennan, moved into Limestone. Still keeping our eye out on that as well. Let's go ahead and put that warning back up so everybody can kind of get a good idea as to where this is, where it's moving.
The storm up in Hill County up there, they were talking about ping pong ball size hail in that area. And again, Clifton, pea-size hail, but it's raining very, very hard right now. You're right, they canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Bosque County, but they'll continue the one right now. Yes, well, they had a severe, yep, they got two, and they got a severe thunderstorm warning that continues right now for Hill County. So you're right, it's very, very active. It's to the north of the Waco area, which is good here. But if you're in Clifton, you're getting hammered with some very, very heavy rainfall at this time, and it looks like that heavy rainfall will be followed by the hail in there. And again, we're just getting reports here on the wire of small hail, but I tell you what, some of that doesn't look small.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, you could be seeing some ping pong ball size hail That's smaller than your you know, average softball or grapefruit size hail, but it still can do some tremendous amount of damage. I mean, we've been talking about these updrafts and these thunderstorms basically the whole time that we've been on air, and very strong storms. That's kind of been our main, our primary concern with this enhanced risk for severe weather was going to be the potential for some very, very large hail. And here it is. Following right behind that was a tornado risk. So we're still hanging on once again to this. We're still going to watch this tornado warned storm in Limestone that goes until 7:15. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue this downstream.
I think you're right. And you know what? If you live in the Groesbeck area right now, Groesbeck, you need to be heading to your safe spot. Haley, that's heading right in that direction. And it looks like, for the most part, we're going to continue to see not only the possibility of rotation, which would be a tornado, but that heavier rainfall out there as well. And not to mention some very strong winds. If you want to flip on over to Mexia, why not? Mexia, we'll show you what's going on up in Mexia since we've got the rain that has moved through the area. Nothing out there for the most part that has been, you know, real rough at this time. It's been to your south. But what we are looking at right now is, again, a live picture. This is sitting on top of the Civic Center in downtown Mexia. Roadways are wet. Again, a lot of rain has been falling, but just to your south right now. And that is some good news. Our Viper radar shows that it looks like it just may miss you with the brunt of the showers and storms that have been moving through the area. Again, wet roadways, nice and calm, and people are listening to the warnings right now. You want to definitely stay inside. All right, as we get you a little bit closer, that's the area of concern right now. What we are watching right now for is the possibility of some rotation, a tornado or a spin up going on in this area. Tornado warning for Limestone County. That goes until 7:15. We're going to put an arrow on there and draw it out as it moves to the east, about 25 or so. Takes it over toward the Red Hill area at 7:10. There's Groesbeck, 7:10 as well. So Groesbeck, if you can hear my voice, you need to be seeking shelter right now. A possible tornado is heading in your direction. Box Church at 7:14, LaSalle at 7:25, Lost Prairie around 7:32 or so, and that's when it'll be moving through your area. That, again, is also showing some very heavy rainfall and the possibility of some larger hail right behind it. If you're in Groesbeck, you're probably already seeing some pea to marble-sized hail. It could be picking up here very, very soon. But that hail path, as you see, as we stretch it back over toward Mart, right along 84, just south of 84 into the Waco area, just north of Waco is where the heavier hail has been. A few other batches up there in the extreme western part of Hill County. Bosque County has been getting hammered, not only with heavy rainfall, but again, we're looking at pea to marble-sized hail. But that'll be picking up in the Clifton area. When you see that orange box go on right now, that indicates a destructive severe thunderstorm warning, meaning hail pretty large. We're talking maybe over 1.5 inches in diameter, and as well as some very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. There's the track on that severe thunderstorm warning as it pushes off to the east and slightly southeast. It's moving at a pretty good clip. It's heading over toward the Rogers Hills area, the Roger Hills area at 7:17, Wiggins at 7:18, West 7:20. Be on the lookout for that. It's right crossing right across I-35 over toward China Spring around 7:22, and Cottonwood at 7:22 as well. Staying just to the north and to the west of Waco. Waco, we are quiet, but now take a look at this. The severe thunderstorm warning, Haley, the destructive is now including the Waco area and McLennan County. You'll notice right here, we are included in that just north of Hewitt. So Woodway, you're right on the line here. This is a big area, very, very heavy rainfall. We could see some rather large hail, again, larger than 1.5 inches in diameter. That's all marching east and southeast. So you're not in the clear west, down toward Lacey, Lakeview, the New Ulm area, down toward Waco and Hewitt. I would say Woodway too. That's all moving in your direction. That is some very, very strong wind, not to mention some very heavy rainfall. That's going to knock down our visibilities. And, you know, we're going to see some more aerial floods being issued, I'm sure. Haley?
Oh, absolutely. I will say the latest update that I've gotten is that they went ahead and canceled that tornado warning for Falls, and they also canceled it for McLennan. But McLennan County is still holding on to the severe thunderstorm warning. It's popping up as a destructive severe thunderstorm warning because of the hail threat and also the very gusty winds as well. So if you haven't already, places from West down to Ross, down to Lacey, Lakeview, Belmead, Waco, even into Woodway, maybe bring that car indoors, or car into the garage. Don't bring it indoors, that'd be weird. But the only tornado warned storm that we have is in Limestone County. Still looking at that tornado warned storm for the next 10 minutes or so. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to push that downstream. That's moving to the east at 25. And once these storms starting to get into Limestone, off towards Freestone and Leon, it starts to get kind of hard because our radar sites are too far away to kind of get a really good a pickup of what we're seeing. But it still does a pretty good job given these certain circumstances and basically where those radar sites are. So still hanging on to that tornado warned storm in Limestone. There's your little inflow notch. This is basically where the wind, that's basically your updraft. And we could be seeing that rotation within this little area right here. So that is just near Thronton, and that is moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So tracker on that. That's going to move once again. We've already stated this, but we're going to state it again because this storm, this certain supercell came from the central kind of eastern part of Coryell, slowly marched into McLennan, slowly marched out of McLennan. Now it's in Limestone. I mean, we've been on air for the last 2.5 hours, and we've been primarily focusing on this warned storm. This is the only one that's really kept up with us over the last couple hours. So that's got a great amount of energy in it. That's your rotation right there. These are your different areas that it's potentially going to be moving into. So they also issued a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to go for Coryell and Limpasas.
That's that next line of coming in here as well. You're right. And they're also looking at in Clifton street flooding going on. So we've got street flooding in the Clifton area, and there is just again a lot of hail falling just south of Clifton. Matter of fact, speaking of hail, we've got a picture or two from Matthew Waters here in the Waco area, and take a look at this, Haley. Oh look at that. Wow. 4 inches in diameter.
That's your grapefruit. There's
your grapefruit. 4.5. You know, that will do some damage. That will actually do some big time damage to a person. That is for sure. Look at the hail there. Holy moly.
Oh my gosh.
That is, again, here in the Waco area. That is between 4 inches, 4.5 inches. We're talking softball to grapefruit size hail. Matthew, thank you for sending this in here, but that is just tremendous amounts. And you'll need to have thunderstorms that tall, that strong, to produce hail that big. So those thunderstorms that rolled through our area are very, very big thunderstorms at this time. We are also watching this line right here of showers and storms. We're not out of the woods yet. Nuh-uh. That is for sure, because here's Waco, here's Lacey, Lakeview, the Golston area. It's moving to the east and now southeast. Again, it's trying to feed where the air is a little bit more unstable, and that's why you see a little turn in these storm cells. But there is the tracker right now. China Spring right around 718, over toward Wiggins at 718. Patrick not far away at 719, West 719 as well. We keep that current movement. It's going to be going right down toward the Waco area here by 8 o'clock or so. A lot of heavy rainfall, hail still breaking out with that, and that is that destructive severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. That's because of the hail associated with that. Could see hail as large as 2 inches in diameter. That's larger than golf ball size hail as it moves into the area. You'll notice that line though starting to kind of fill in just a little bit as you work your way off to the west here. So we are watching that line of showers and storms beginning to get a little bit closer. There's Mejia, it's to your south. If you're in Groesbeck, you're seeing some large hail right now. You need to be in your safe spot. You need to be away from windows. Look at the hail path here over the last hour or so, heading right in your direction, and it's been holding its own. it's going to continue to track off to the east. So don't let your guard down. This is a hail maker, not to mention possible rotation going on. Doppler radar indicated a tornado in that area. That is a look at our velocity. Once again, that red shows that the wind blowing away from the radar site. Green is toward the radar site, and where you have the bright colors together, that's where the problems are. And that's what we're seeing at this time over toward the tracker shows it over toward the Davis Prairie area around 712, Box Church at 718, not to mention Old Union at 726 as well. And that will continue to kind of push off toward Interstate 45, New Hope, and not too far away from the Long Hollow area. And so you notice some of these showers and storms actually coming up from the south to the north. Well, these are all moving off to the east and to the southeast. Well, what happens is these are so strong right now that they are actually sucking up the moisture and those storms to the south, pulling it together to make it a real strong supercell on top of parts of Groesbeck over toward Limestone County. So again, an interesting feature. That's all moving from the south to the
including tornadoes.
Radars, to kind of give us a better idea as to what's going on. Very heavy rainfall back off to the west as well in San Saba. We haven't forgotten about you, but you're not under any sort of warning, so that's why we're not talking about your certain area. So if we bring up your area, it's because you are basically under a severe thunderstorm warning or potentially a tornado warning. But at this time, the only tornado warned storm that we have here in Central Texas is the one over in Limestone. This is very, very great amount of hail, great size, big size of hail moving into Groesbeck at this time. Could be looking upwards of tennis ball size hail. That looked like it just moved over Groesbeck. It could be right over Groesbeck as we speak. But the rotation that we're looking at is just to the east of Thronton. It looks like it was over Thronton not too long ago, so that could be a radar error. But in terms of any sort of rotation, yeah, it does look like it's to the east of Thronton. So that's where your rotation is. Let's go ahead and put a storm tracker on this as well. In this general direction, let's see if it matches up with reflectivity. Sort of. It's kind of bowing out just a little bit, Mike, which is a good thing.
And we talked about the bowing out. Now it's that. You're right. It shifts to the wind. So now the wind, but you're right. On that tornado, you've got it circled right there in the right spot because that's from Thornton and just around the Quaid area. That's where they're seeing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, once we start to get towards, central eastern Limestone, and then you move into Freestone and Leon County, our radar site, the radar site that we're currently using is back in Fort Hood, all the way over in, Bell County. So kind of far away, so it's a hard time kind of reaching this certain area. I mean, it does a pretty good job at doing it and kind of illustrating exactly what we're seeing, but the closer these storms are to the radar site, the better that the better kind of image that we get here in Central Texas. So tornado warning still ongoing for Limestone. I mean, this supercell is really just continued to hold this great amount of energy. It's got a lot of potential with it. It's just feeding off this very warm and humid air mass. It's a very unstable air mass as well. And this developed all the way back in Coryell County, and it gradually continued to strengthen as it trekked into eastern Coryell, into McLennan, now into Limestone, and it's still holding the same exact rotation that it did 2.5 hours ago. But At one point, this storm did drop a very small, looks like it was a brief tornado. We're going to wait to see if they get some sort of preliminary reports that we could get a better idea as to what exactly it did. But that's going to move into Davis Prairie at 7:24. We keep saying your name over and over again. That's because these storms, essentially, they kind of back off in terms of their speed and how fast they're moving. They'll kind of fall back just a little bit. At one point, it was moving to the east at 30. Now it's east at 25. And then at one point, it was east at 20. So that's why we've been saying your name kind of over and over again. It'll eventually come in your direction, moving to Davis Prairie, 7:24. Old Union at 7:35. In Round Prairie at 7:44. That's all in Limestone County. That is the only tornado warned storm that we have. Back off to the north and west, we're still hanging on to a pretty wide range of some convection that's beginning to pick up and, like you said, might kind of fill in across the area. And this stretches all the way from parts of the viewing area way up to our north, even into the western part of, Navarro County. And it stretches all the way down into Hill, into McLennan, back off into Coryell. I mean, that's that line for you right there. Some of these areas are severe warned, and it's mainly a hail threat. So here we go. We just got a severe thunderstorm warning. This has still been kind of continuing here for Bosque, for Hill, and for McLennan County. It's got a considerable amount of damage threat potential with it, because we could potentially see hail upwards of 2.5 inches. So that is essentially tennis ball size hail incoming.
Moving off to the east.
Yep, moving off to the east. Let's go ahead and put a storm tracker on that. Very, very large hail headed our way. East at...
Yep, I will get it for you here. East, probably at 30.
Probably about 25, 30 if I had to guess.
Yeah. Let's see here, 35.
Oh, it's picked up a little bit of speed. Okay, great.
Which would also indicate that wind will start to be kind of a concern, but you're right. This is a huge problem now for Waco down toward the Bellmead area as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to move into Highland at 7:22. Highland is in, it's actually already in Highland as we speak. So right on the dot. That's going to follow into Willow Grove at 7:25. These are all kind of some smaller towns. Spiegelville at 7:28. Let's try to get some of your bigger, more populated areas up here. So west, moving in your direction as we speak. Lake Waco probably in the next 9 or 10 minutes or so. Lacey Lakeview at 7:35. Bellmead at 7:38. Woodway and Waco at 7:39. So once again, a severe thunderstorm warning in progress for McLennan County, and that's going to be the threat for some very large hail, looking at the potential for hail upwards of 2.5 inches. And once again, that is your tennis ball size hail. So people in Bellmead, like I said, from west, well, you don't have too much time over in west, down towards Lacey Lakeview, Bellmead, Waco, Woodway, you have a little bit of time to go move that car under your carport or into your garage, because tennis ball size hail, from personal experience, is not pretty, and it's not pretty when it hits your car.
You're right, and it's moving in that direction right now. The severe thunderstorm warning for Hill County has now expired, so that is some good news right now. We still have some aerial flood advisories. Matter of fact, the National Weather Service has issued an aerial flood advisory for Hill, Limestone, and McLennan County now until 10:15. So we talked about that heavy rainfall. You get all that heavy rainfall over a short period of time, we've got problems. And guess what? We've got flood advisories here in McLennan County as well as Limestone County and Hill County. But our concern, that line of showers and storms, and as you were pointing out there, it's in western McLennan County right now, but it's all tracking off to the east and southeast at 35 miles per hour. So it's picked up a little speed. The yellow boxes, that's a tornado watch that's still in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, and that includes a large area. But notice how that line now, as we talked about, is starting to come together, congeal, and that line from Hill County kind of tailing back through Bosque County, not far away from Coryell County, Saba County, That line is where we are going to see the not only hail but also wind become a big time problem. Hail's been a problem all evening long, and that line is starting to bow out just a little bit around the Waco area, or at least just to the west of Waco right now. But that is marching in our direction. I'm looking at the camera right now, and what we are seeing in our sky tracker is not bad. We'll show you that here in just a second, what's going on here across the region. But what we are looking at, for the most part, you can see not only are we looking at some overcast conditions across
Shelf cloud.
Yep, of most of the area. But that shelf cloud is definitely an indication of what is to come behind it. And there's that shelf cloud right there. It's out ahead of that severe thunderstorm that's marching in our direction. So if you live in Waco, you live in the Woodway area, the Hewitt, down toward Lorena, up toward McGregor, you need to be on the lookout, because this storm has had a history of producing some very large hail. And guess what? Some large hail is on the way, some very heavy rainfall is on the way, and some windy conditions. So not only are we dealing with that, we're going to be dealing with another round that's going to be moving through our area. Again, that's sitting right on top of the station here, our live Centex roof system sky tracker showing you the shelf cloud, well defined. It's a pretty picture out there, that is for sure, but that is not good news behind it, because it is packing a punch. Take a look at the radar, and what you're going to see here is not only the possibility of some very, very heavy rainfall, but the possibility of some hail. And that's what you were looking at right there. You see that green, the light green out ahead of it there? There you go. We're kind of tilting it just a little bit. That is that shelf cloud. Behind the shelf cloud, you notice the dark colors, or at least the yellows and the reds and the dark reds and the purples. That indicates not only hail but heavy rainfall and very windy conditions. That's all marching down toward Waco. We'll put a tracker on this right here. You can see how it bows out just a little bit right there. That shows very, very windy conditions. And we'll put a tracker, we'll stretch it out. It says it's moving at about 30, 35 miles an hour, but I'll tell you what, it could definitely pick up a little speed, that is for sure. Takes it over toward Spiegelville about right now, over toward Ross about right now, down toward Lake Waco in the next couple of minutes, over toward Waco. We're talking Woodway and the Hewitt area here very, very soon. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be feeling the outflow. That is the wind out ahead of it, that outflow boundary that kind of gives you that cool gush of air. But that's an indication of the showers and storms that are behind it that are going to be moving off to the east and to the southeast. So west down toward the Goldston area, you're already getting hammered right now with heavy rainfall. Same story in Crawford. That line is marching off to the east and slightly southeast. We've got that warning in effect. That is a destructive severe thunderstorm warning in effect for our area. Some hit and miss scattered showers. They are not severe now in eastern McLennan County, beginning to push just north of the Riesel area. You're seeing a little bit in the way of some light rainfall, that is for sure. But this line of showers and storms getting closer. You can see the clock there at 7:26. That's all marching toward Belmead, Waco, and Woodway, Hewitt. Make sure your windows are rolled up in your car. Make sure your car, if you have a garage, stick it in the garage right now. We've got reports not only of some large hail with this, but we're also getting some very heavy rainfall with it, knocking down visibilities. We've got that aerial flood advisory until 10:15 for McLennan County, and that's going to be aggravating it with more rainfall on the way here along the region. You'll notice the movement right there on our severe thunderstorm east and slightly southeast. That warning goes until 8 o'clock, so for the next half hour. But take a peek though. The heavy rainfall goes from west. It's going to follow almost I-35 and then go east and then slightly southeast. But as it bows out just a little bit, that stronger wind associated with that. You know what, Haley, we can get down even a little bit closer. Let's take you right on down just off to the west of Waco, and we'll just slap on a tracker if you can there, or we'll take a look at the city streets, because this right here means business. It's going to definitely grab your attention as it moves through the area. There's the tracker on it. All right, we've got these updated times here for you as we kind of fine-tune this for you. It's going to be taking it through the Lacey Lakeview area at 7:33, over toward Bosque at 7:34 at South Bosque, Waco 7:34, Bellmead at 7:35. Also Woodway around 7:35, and the Jewel area at 7:36. Heavy rainfall, windy conditions, and again, I hear our alarms going off, Haley.
Yeah, exactly. The good news about this cluster of storms moving into Waco or McLennan County is that they're still going to have a hail threat, but not as big of a hail threat as we've seen with the last several storms. So we're not going to see monster-sized hail of grapefruit or higher than that, you know. So that's the good news with that. So that's going to move in here, very heavy rainfall in kind of a decent amount of time. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they extend some sort of a flood warning our direction, but we're going to have to wait and see what the weather
you're right on that.
says.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are still eyeing this tornado-warned storm in Limestone. This goes until 7:45, but the rotation, it continues with this storm. It's just east of Thornton, but the structure of the storm has become a little bit messy. So heavy rainfall and large hail still possible in Limestone, but for the most part, that severe weather threat is continuing to push out of here. So if we go ahead and put on our velocity, I'm trying to find a good kind of area as to where this this rotation could be. I mean, the storm is very messy. It doesn't look
not well defined.
Yeah, not well defined at all, but still hanging on to that tornado.
That hail east of Groesbeck.
Yeah, that's a massive hail. That's very large. And that's been kind of the big threat with these storms, but you know, despite the ongoing rotation that some of these storms have been able to kind of pick up and gather. So hail has been the primary concern. This severe thunderstorm warning here in McLennan County, we'll see some hail with this as it moves in, but very heavy rainfall. Lightning is entering our direction. And I'm going to go ahead and put our reflectivity back on. This is moving right into the Woodway area. McGregor, you're also going to get some rain kind of trailing up into the I-35 corridor, Bellmead, Lacey Lakeview, Elmont. There you go. Here comes your rain. Back off to the west, we still haven't forgotten about you. You're also parts of Coryell and Lampasas are still under that severe thunderstorm warning. And this has also been a hail threat as well as a very gusty wind threat too, looking at winds of 60 miles per hour or greater. So we're watching that hail still moving off to the east at a pretty good clip. The highest amount of the greatest amount of hail is actually over the Bee House community moving into Pearl. That's going to move into the Pearl direction at 7:36. These are all different communities and different towns in Coryell County, and to Arnett at 7:57 if it holds up, which it more than likely will. So that's also moving at a pretty good pace too. It could also be moving to the southeast. That certain arrow that I had it moving to the east, so that could be a different story.
And we're getting reports from the National Weather Service right now that storms are beginning to congeal into a line that'll start to move southward and southeastward along the front. And right now that's going to shift to wind threat as the big threat. As you and I were talking about all evening long here, we're still going to see the threat for some hail, tornadoes, and flash flooding for the next hour or so. But again, our threat will start to shift more towards that very, very strong winds. That'll be moving through the area, and the tornado warning still in effect for Limestone County, like you were saying, right now, and that goes until 7:45. There's a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing the tornado. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but it's located over Lake Limestone, or it's about 12 miles to the southeast of Groesbeck, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So we'll continue to watch that over that area, but that line of showers and storms now beginning to push into the downtown Waco area, or at least pretty close to Waco. That definitely is packing a punch. And you said the main threat now, they're still talking hail, but not as big as a threat, right,
yeah,
with the hail.
Yeah, exactly. We could still potentially see the likelihood of maybe some quarter-size hail, maybe some half-dollar-size hail, but the potential for, you know, softball to grapefruit size hail, baseball size hail, not going to be the case with now this line of storms moving in. So here it comes. It's moving in our direction. Cottonwood at 7:34, Elmont also at 7:34. within the next couple minutes. It's going to move into Lacey Lakeview at 7:35, Waco also 7:35, Belle Meade 7:36, as well as Woodway, Beverly Hills just a minute after that as well. So very heavy rainfall going to enter the picture. Also a lot of lightning too. We have some of our lightning actually. I have a little bit of it turned down, but if I turn it up over the last 9 or 10 minutes, a ton of lightning with this too.
You know, I haven't heard any reports of any power outages or anything like that. Maybe you guys can check maybe for us back there in the back to see if anybody here in the area is without power. Because again, just a reminder, if you do lose power, we are streaming live on our app, our Fox 44 News app. Just make sure you have it downloaded. You can follow us live on your phone or on your iPad. But with all this lightning out there and this wind, Haley, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see some outages.
Yeah, exactly. We could see if we do have a couple outages. This may not be because of these storms. It could be because of something else, but we could potentially be looking at some people here in McLennan County, upwards of 3,000 without power. Again, it's kind of hard to say. We're going to have to get that confirmed from production or somebody in the back to let us know that.
I think that's kind of a rough guess. You know, speaking of the storms that we're moving through here, David in Waco has sent us some video here. Take a look at this here, some rotating clouds out there, possible funnel. It was in Waco. Hey, Dean, do you know exactly where it was here? Is it in Waco? Okay, he doesn't know, but it's in McLennan County. We're thinking in McLennan County here when he shot this. And it looks like David was looking at possibly some rotation. You can kind of see that there. It's kind of hard to tell, but they are definitely moving on. You can kind of look at the top of your picture there. You see how they're kind of being pulled in for the most part. There's inflow notches on these big thunderstorms or supercells, and sometimes you'll get that turning with the inflow of those big thunderstorms, and I think that's what we see. You know what? Let's flip over to our camera, if you don't mind, here in Woodway, Haley, our sky tracker, because the rain that we were talking about has arrived here. This is round number 2 for the most part. You're looking out toward Lake Waco. No, you don't need glasses. This is how it looks right now. It's kind of blurry for the most part, but the heavy rainfall continues to fall down. Our live Centex Swift System Sky Tracker right here in Woodway, showing you what's going on. That heavy rain picking up. It's going to get heavier here over the next several minutes. We could see some hail out there. Right now, there is that destructive severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect at this time. I can hear it coming down here at the station, that heavy rainfall, and that will be continuing to be the story as this line congeals together. See how it's starting to form a line? There's that warning that's still in effect. But now we've got a line. As we get a little closer, that rainfall knocking on the door here in Waco, down toward Woodway, right along Highway 84. There it is. That's all moving off to the east and to the southeast, roughly at about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Raining very hard in Spiegelville over toward Lake Waco. Hey, that's where we need the rain. We need the rain in the lake. Let's bring up those water levels. That is for sure here. This is a good soaking rain here. We don't want the severe weather that's coming down with it, but again, we're getting some more weather information from the wire.
Yeah, a couple of reports. The plan is actually to let the current tornado warning for Limestone expire, as most of that rotation has become a little bit more disorganized. So that will be replaced with a new severe thunderstorm warning shortly. And it looks like they did issue that for Limestone, Leon, and Freestone. Could be seeing some winds in excess of 60 miles per hour and hail quarter size. So the only main concerns that we're really looking at, well, this red color for the tornado warning, it'll probably be expired once we get to the 7:45 hour. Normally the Weather Service has a tendency to do that. They don't let the color go away. So it looks like they're going to go ahead and cancel that. We're going to hang on to a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, primarily because of a wind threat, it looks like, and could be some smaller hail. Looks like $half size hail moving into McLennan County.
That's some good news. And you know, we are getting reports too of some power outages. You had your map up there, so I think you're right on. Take a look at this. Here, you ask and you shall receive, right? Thank you very much for bringing that up back here, guys. We are right now looking at almost 1,200 customers affected right now here in central Texas because of the storms that have been moving through here. So again, we are going to watch this number here again, depending on where you click. We're clicking on the map there. It'll tell you exactly, but I can tell you anywhere from 100 to 1,200 customers are affected, and we've got some more wind moving through. I was just told 4,100 in total so far here in Central Texas, Haley. And as we start to shift from the tornado threat, which we still have, but it's not going to be as high, to the wind threat and the heavy rain threat, look for these numbers to go up. Yep, they will go up for sure here, and that is a live a look right now from Encore and what we are seeing here across the region. But that heavy rainfall moving through the Waco area, take a look at that. Our live Syntex Seamless Gutter Sky Trackers and our roof system Sky Trackers right here in the central part of the state. You can't even see out the door here in the Woodway area. Rain's coming down. This is in Killeen. All is quiet right now for the time being. Temple as well. And as you work your way down toward Mahia, or I should say up to Mahia, we are seeing some spotty rain. Look at that lightning going on right there. Highway 84 as we focus in on that too here in Woodway. Very, very slow travel right now. Roadways are wet, and we're going to get more and more rain here across the region. We can hear the showers and thunderstorms out there at this time, but there's Lake Waco, well, again, which is some good news because Lake Waco is getting pretty low. As you know here, we need the water to go into Lake Waco and Bosqueville and over toward downtown Waco, Hewitt, the Woodway area. As you work your way down south, though, a little bit lighter in the way of precipitation, especially if you follow 35. Not much going on down in Robinson, some moderate rainfall. But the good news is this is rainfall that's moving through. The wind is going to be a little bit strong, and we're going to see some hail, but hail now has not been the biggest threat. And then, again, as this stuff kind of lines up together, comes together, converges, congeals, it turns more into a wind and heavy rain threat as it moves across our area. And our exclusive Viper radar showing you exactly what's going on here across the region. Temperature-wise and wind-wise, holy moly, our wind gust right now, we had a wind gust of 63 miles per hour. I'm not kidding. Our map is showing 63 mile per hour wind gust.
That's on Lynx 2. I can't get it to pull up on Lynx 1.
Okay.
But we have a 63 mile per hour wind gust at the Waco Regional Airport.
Unbelievable. Right, yeah, we have ASOS systems out there, the METARs, that are showing 63 miles per hour right now. Tim, I don't know if you can call up Lynx 2 at all. There it is. Thank you very much, sir. And 63 mile per hour wind gusts here in the Waco area because of the thunderstorms moving through. 25 in Gatesville, 22 in the Lampasas area. The front still back to our northwest. Notice those blue arrows coming in out of the north. That's behind the cold front. Out ahead of it, we're drawing up all that moisture and that warm air, and that's what's been feeding those showers and storms right on top of us, and that continues all the way over toward the Brazos Valley and then down toward I-45 as well. Back to our exclusive Viper radar, that destructive severe thunderstorm warning still in effect now for the next 18 to 19 minutes in the Waco area. I can tell you, though, that heavy rainfall, low visibility, windy conditions are now the main concern. Matter of fact, we were talking about a wind event taking over. Case in point, you saw the wind gust, 63 mile per hour wind. That's how we know now we're starting to shift over to very, very strong winds, Haley, and that bowing that's going on here across our area as well, indicating those winds.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these, very strong winds start to move into Killeen, could push into the Belton area over the next several, maybe the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for still Coryell and Lampasas. That's going to go until 8 o'clock tonight. Still going to be the primary threats are going to be some gusty winds and some hail, probably about, it looks to be about $50 to ping pong ball size hail embedded in these storms back off to our north and west, mainly back off to the west.
And there you go again, flood advisories now
in effect for
Bell, Falls, Limestone till 10:45. So rain and heavy rain over a short period of time, flooding.
Yes, exactly. Like we said earlier, there's still that tornado warning, that color, that big polygon popping up for Limestone, but they are going to let that expire at 7:45 as that rotation has really started to weaken and the structure of the storm has become a little bit messy. So that's going to expire. The only thing we're still hanging on to are a couple severe thunderstorm warnings here across central Texas. Like I said, Coryell, Lampasas, you guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock tonight. over in McLennan County, still we're going to go with that severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock tonight, and that is because of a wind gust that we just recorded about 5 minutes ago of 63 miles per hour. And you can hear it too when the wind.
63 miles per hour. Think about that though, you know, tropical storm, 39 miles per hour,
Exactly.
hurricane 74. So, I mean, we're talking this kind of wind will definitely do some damage right now. And again, the strongest part of the storm, as you can see right there, the western part of Coryell County there, just west basically of Gatesville.
Yeah.
And that's kind of following. But yeah, you got a 63 mile per hour wind moving through McLennan County.
That's crazy. Yeah, so the strongest of storm, like Mike just said, they're going to clip off Lampasas County from the severe thunderstorm warning and remain this warning with Coryell, as that's where the strongest of storms is, as we continue to say. Still a hail threat, looking at a $50 to ping pong ball size hail embedded in that storm. Also, and that's what we're...
That's that outflow boundary too. They were talking about, yep, out in Coryell.
Yeah, the Coryell, the storm is re-intensified baseball hail now. Okay, so we could be looking at some baseball size hail.
You can see the dark color. See by B House, that area there. We're also looking at, again, the outflow appears to be pushing southward of the main convective cluster there, but that means that we're going to see, you know, the tornado threat a lot lower. But on the other hand, the hail and the damaging winds are going to be still high, and the Coryell storm right now is intensified again. And you're right, baseball size hail.
Yeah, baseball size hail. So at this moment forward, we got about a minute until this tornado warning expires for Limestone. From this point forward, we're still looking at some pretty decent sized hail, like you said, in Coryell. Very heavy rainfall and very, very gusty winds here in McLennan County. Like we just said, we registered a 63 mile per hour wind gust at the Waco Regional Airport not too long ago. So these storms are pushing out a ton of air out ahead of it. And again, we're watching some pretty heavy rainfall and some gusty winds, a little bit of hail in that as well. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning here in McLennan County until 8 o'clock. Still waiting to see if we're going to stay with us until 8 o'clock or not. But
yeah, I think we'll hang with you guys until 8 o'clock, just because we've got that severe thunderstorm warning for McLennan County. So we are going to be hanging with you guys until 8 o'clock tonight. Our main threat, as you've been showing everybody right now, is that heavy rainfall out there, the strong wind. We've had wind over 63 miles per hour. Wow, that is extremely strong, and it looks like that activity continues to move to the east and slightly southeast at about 25 to 35 miles per hour, but it's starting to bow out, and it extends down toward Coryell County as well. And we're looking at special weather advisements, statements, I should say, down towards Sinsaba, over toward Lampasas. But that is going to be the story, and it looks like that heavy rainfall, boy, oh boy, that heavy rainfall will continue to fall. I haven't seen any rainfall amounts come in yet, have you?
Well, they're also going to let the McLennan warning expire, the McLennan County warning expire on time as the clusters weakened somewhat over the last few minutes. So, I mean, the Waco Regional Airport kind of got the bulk of the greatest amount of wind. There we go. They also did expire that tornado warning for Limestone. Right. So the only one we're really still hanging on to, they replaced that tornado warning in Limestone with a severe thunderstorm warning in the eastern, kind of the southeastern portions of Limestone. So very heavy rainfall. Could be looking at some pretty decent size hail if we put on our current hail swath. Yeah, looking at some good size hail as well. It's maintained kind of its composure when it comes to all this hail. So anyways, yep, the greatest threats are now just going to be Coryell County, as they do have some baseball size hail still ongoing. That could be possible.
If it holds together, I know that rain though, that the heavy rainfall will help the hail, so it's not as big.
Yeah, exactly. But they're going to let that warning expire on time in McLennan County until 8 o'clock.
Which is some good news. So again, the warnings that you see out there on the screen, they all go until 8 o'clock this evening. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm watch that's still in effect. Actually, that is actually a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock this evening. Right. Another aerial Flood advisory has been issued for Limestone County until 10:45. Tremendous amounts of rain. This is good news, though, that we're seeing the rain, that is for sure. But that line now has come together as expected, and that goes from Corsicana. We're up there in Navarro County, down through McLennan County, down toward Coryell County, Lampasas County, San Saba County. You see how it's starting to form a line. That's where we're going to see some heavier rainfall. Obviously, with that, we're going to see the flooding advisory's been posted, and also maybe some wind gusts that are strong. But once those warnings expire, and both of them will, we are looking at some quieter conditions. I'm not sure how long that one goes right now, but that one goes until 8:45. But we'll watch that too.
Southern Lampasas.
Is those, those start to head towards southern Lampasas and kind of actually go southeast for the most part here across the area. But that line of some heavier rainfall continues across our area. There it is. We're not out of the woods quite yet. We've got to get this line of showers and thunderstorms to move through our area. And we've had reports of some power outages. Again, some areas here in Central Texas, over 4,000 customers without power across our area. And again, heavier rainfall and the windy conditions are not going to help. When you have 63-mile-per-hour winds go through, you're going to have problems, not only with your internet connection, but with just about everything in your power. Again, these are just some rough estimates. This is all indicated by our exclusive Viper radar there. You can kind of get an idea where we are seeing some higher numbers here in McLennan County. That's why it's a different shade, but also over toward Marlin as you work your way Falls County and up toward Limestone County. But we're going to continue to see that heavy rainfall slide across our area. Winds have still been very, very strong here across the region. Matter of fact, some of the current wind speeds, I don't know, Tim, if you can go to links 2 here. I've got some current wind speeds up there, and these are current sustained winds at 25 miles per hour right now in the Waco area. 15 Temple, 14 in Killeen, a little bit lighter closer to the front though. You can see 8 in Brownwood, 8 in Comanche, but out ahead of the front, still some very strong southerly winds starting to come through the area, and that is going to kind of fuel some of the wind that we are seeing here across our area. Over on Viper radar, again on links 1, you're seeing that heavy rainfall.
Yeah,
Haley.
very heavy rainfall. Very heavy rainfall. Flooding could be in some unusual places over in Limestone. Limestone's got a big thunderstorm in that direction. That was once severe warned, tornado warned, I should say.
Yeah, and that rain just continues to fall on top of the area that's already seen the rainfall. Yeah. So
there's a report that the city of Groesbeck saw a rain gauge 6 inches per hour, which I do believe.
Yeah. If it maintains that, absolutely.
Right.
That's how hard it was coming down. That means visibility is going to be close to 0 when you see some rain coming down at that clip here across the area. But flooding definitely a concern. Take a look at our rainfall totals over the last 3 hours. Eastern McLennan County over toward Limestone County. There's the legend at the top, just to give you an idea, at least 2 to 4 inches, at least, into that region. But if you're down in Temple and Killeen over toward the Little River Academy or Lampasas, you haven't seen anything. So
again, will eventually.
They will eventually, absolutely. But right now they haven't seen much, and that heavier rainfall that's continuing to fall is starting to, kind of expand a little bit more in McLennan County. The good news is it's not severe.
Yeah.
For the most part. They still have that warning out, right?
Yeah, a couple warnings and that have been out for us. I'm actually going to lap this over the last 30 minutes instead of the last hour because we have had several warnings become expired. The one in McLennan County, you may have gotten a severe thunderstorm warning on your phone just a while back. That's going to be let to expire at 8 o'clock. It doesn't look like it's going to continue for the rest of McLennan County. We could get something in Falls County over the next several minutes or so. It doesn't look like it though because it's becoming a very heavy rain threat as well as some very gusty winds too. The only severe warned storm after that we're potentially seeing next to McLennan County is over in Coryell County, and that expires at 8 o'clock tonight. Southern San Saba looking also at a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 tonight. That is because of a hail threat. Could be seeing some ping pong ball size hail but potentially with that storm. So we got a couple special weather statements off to our west and southwest. Those are just some stronger thunderstorms, but not strong
We're
enough
below
to be
severe limits.
Correct.
Which is good.
Yeah, so still hanging on. I mean, we hear a lot of rain here at our
the station.
yeah, news station here in Woodway. We're also going to pull up our sky tracker.
Look at that.
Yeah, a ton of rainfall. Be careful if you're driving in any of this. If you're driving from, you know, Hillsborough down to Waco, or even from Waco to Hillsborough, all of I-35 is probably soaked with all this rain that moved in.
You know, this is very, very good news. Very good news. We need the rainfall out there. We don't want to go to stage 3. That is for sure here. So this rainfall, a lot of it's hitting the basins, is hitting Lake Waco, which is some great news. And again, we'll take that heavy rainfall. We just don't want the severe weather. And again, the severe thunderstorm warning now has expired for McLennan County. The National Weather Service is going to let the warning for McLennan County expire right now, so a few minutes earlier than 8 o'clock. But there's what's been happening here on our Viper radar. And just again, we're still under the tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock this evening. That still includes Waco, Temple, and Killeen, and then areas down toward the Brazos Valley. This is mainly going to be a heavy rain event for the rest of the evening, but there's some embedded hail with that and some stronger winds. Haley and I will completely watch this for the rest of the evening and even overnight if we have to, as it marches off to the east and to the southeast here throughout the region. If you happen to catch any video or do you have any pictures, please send them to us. We want to show them on the news. And of course, we're going to have a recap coming up at 9 o'clock on not only the storms, but the heavy rainfall and how much we got here. All that coming up at 9 o'clock. But once again, all you need to do is go to fox44news.com. We've got the information for you right here, which will show you that we have it on Facebook as well as Twitter. Just send it our way. We'll try to get those pictures on for you tonight at 9 o'clock. If not, make sure you check out our Facebook page as well as Twitter. For Haley, for myself here, thanks for watching. And again, mainly a rain and wind event at this time. Just keep it here on Fox 44. We warn you first.
The singer rejoining the competition, given a second chance at redemption, is...
Woo! I got goosebumps. Woo!